Well, hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. My name is Eric.
Hey, Eric, I'm Mark. How's it going, Eric? Mark?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yep.
Thank you for asking. I really appreciate that.
I've been told that you want to drive people's name home so people remember Eric, your name and stuff.
We've known each other for over 10 years, Mark. If you don't know my name at this point.
Well, Eric, I would like to...
Thanks, Mark, for driving that home one more time.
Okay.
Joining us today, we have Logan, who has previously been on an episode.
Yeah, the Tau one.
One of our most hated episode,
Yep.
and it was directly
Don't
your
know
fault.
why I was invited back.
It's the content, but it's how you delivered it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, now that you've gone through, I don't know, the Lorehammer school, you've got your diploma, so now we feel it's great to have you back on.
$50,000 for a piece of paper.
It was worth it though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's tax deductible.
Of
too,
course.
so just write that off at the end of the year. It's fine.
And then joining us, we have Zac for the first time.
Hello.
Zach,
Wow, welcome to the show.
Thank you. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. Like, do we say how we know each other? We know friends of a friend of a friend?
Yeah, kind of something like that.
Sure.
He's
Yeah.
my cousin.
Oh, there we
shit.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. So the plot thickens. What other deep details do we know about Zach?
I've known him my entire life.
Yep.
Have you
Same.
guys ever...
You've known Zac your entire life.
Yeah, my entire life.
Wow, that's a long time. Yeah.
Have you ever been in like a fight with each other or anything?
I don't think so, actually.
War- Well,
Well, you're
Warhammer.
about to. Welcome to Lorehammer. We get down and dirty and we get into the shit of the lore. We're gonna... I don't know.
If you don't hate each other now, you will by the end of it.
It's time to go.
But this episode is Militarum Tempestus.
Yeah, yeah. And for those of you who don't know what that means,
Look it up.
Commissar. Look it up, bitch.
Stupid.
Do your own
Episode's over.
We're gonna be talking about the Tempestus Scions and also Commissars.
Yeah, all part of the Ordo Tempestus, actually, which is kind of related to the Astra Militarum, but, you know, not necessarily part of them. It's classic, like, Imperium hierarchy.
If you don't know who's in charge, then no one can get in trouble.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or the guy pointing the bolt pistol at you is the one in charge.
Oh God.
You know?
Thank you, Commissar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where'd you
welcome.
get that gun, Eric?
Look at me. Look at me.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain now. Yeah, but before we actually get into the episode itself, there's a couple things we want to highlight for those of you maybe who are listening for the first time.
Housekeeping.
Yeah. Just housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Well, the first one is our Patreon. If you're unaware, we do have a Patreon. We actually video record all our episodes in our awesome studio. You can look at us as we scream at each other.
Tables have been known to be flipped.
Oh,
That's where the plaque went.
Yeah. Shattered into a million pieces.
yeah, for the low price of $2 a month,
Oh,
you
jeez.
too can watch us.
What a steal. Tell me again how I get involved in that.
Well, what you do is you go to Patreon and you search for Lorehammer,
duh.
and you'll find us. And again, it's $2 a month to see our video content.
Wow.
Other than that, let's talk Lorehammer for a couple minutes.
Minutes. Holy fuck. Holy shit.
It's worth minutes, Mark. God damn it.
God damn.
LTL is kind of a sister podcast, actually. It's run by Dylan and Matt, and it's made for and by the members of our community, for the members of our community.
Yeah. They basically just do whatever the community wants. Sometimes they'll do submissions about... I think they're doing like weird sex ones, like every time you
Adeptus Erotica, I
Adeptus
believe, is in the
Erotica,
works.
You know, there's a bunch of crazy
Yeah.
stuff that they do over there that's all just community driven. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
and
Mark
if-
and I were just recently on an episode
Where
where we created a hive city. It was a mobile hive city. It was a ship that just drags its way through the ice using grav technology. And
Yeah, it's so sweet.
there's like the ruling class where they get hooked into the ship, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was 10 out of 10. But you should just go listen to that podcast.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Wow. And then the last but not least.
Join us on Discord. Discord's just like a little app you can download on your phone. You're chatting to us then. You're chatting to other people. You're showing pictures. You're looking at our cats.
Memes.
Memes. We got memes.
many memes. Yeah.
But basically, come hang out with us on Discord. We just broke 2K members, which was kind of exciting, kind of cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
I'm
thank
gonna
you, thank you.
leave.
We're practically famous.
Yeah.
now.
practically. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
leave it so you're back to
Son of a-
1999.
Oh, that's already happened to us a couple of times. Now. We have this lore helper chat, and they keep posting the image, and it's going up and down. And
Yeah.
it's
impossible
ride.
to get it
It's a
good.
roller coaster, man.
My poor emotions.
So help us bump over that 2K mark.
Yeah.
But
You
all
wanna-
right,
You want to spin your mic?
why?
Why?
'Cause you're facing.
No, I'm definitely talking into my
Are
stick.
you? Okay.
yeah.
It doesn't look like it.
I know, but
all
I'm a
right.
professional. Trust me.
Thank God.
Spotify,
I don't know what I'm doing.
He trusted me enough to do this job.
I should then too.
You should too.
Well, let's get into the episode itself. Let's talk about the Militarum Tempestus.
yeah, or as they're also known as the Ordo Tempestus. And we're going to be flip-flopping with a bunch of names here over and over. It's going to be great. There's some low Gothic and high Gothic shenanigans going on sometimes. But today we're going to be talking about the Ordo Tempestus. And the Ordo Tempestus is a semi-independent agency under the authority of the Administratum. Its main responsibilities are the training and allocation of the Tempestus Scions and Commissars, though there are other, more secretive organizations included as well.
I wish we at least knew the names of those secret organizations.
Yeah,
Even if they didn't give us any other information, I want to know the names so I can try and guess what they do.
And they're not secret.
That's a good
Ooh,
point.
Son of a
shit.
Got me there.
Well, for once, GW wrote good, solid lore.
Yeah.
Could we?
Thank
No
you.
holes in that one.
Nope.
It's secret, and you'll never know what it is.
Perfect. The Ordo often works directly with the Astra Militarum, adding their specialized skills to the incalculable weight of the Imperial Guard. Both known branches of the Militarum Tempestus are recruited from the Schola Progenium, which are academies or orphanages overseen and run by missionaries of the Ecclesiarchy.
I don't know why I laughed at orphanages.
It's just when you those orphans, those stupid orphans.
Poor
How
things,
dare
like-
you? Welcome to war.
What's weird is that sometimes they're referred to as orphanages and sometimes they're academies, but it probably just depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Probably.
You
They're
know?
not just indoctrination camps. Let's be honest
Right,
here.
for sure.
Yeah.
Did Christian write this? I can't tell.
So let's talk about the Schola Progenium. So all the recruits that go into the into the Ordo Tempestus, they all funnel through the Schola Progenium. We've mentioned it before on other episodes, but we've never really talked about all the craziness. But you need to know all this craziness to know how you get the best of the best, the Tempestus Scions and the
Right.
Commissars. So let's
Okay.
go into it.
So the Schola Progenium, the building itself these are large, ancient training facilities, and they're pretty thinly spread across the galaxy, mainly found on planets with strong ties to Terra or the Adeptus Ministorum. They are metaphorically and literally cut into the bedrock of the planet itself with the intention of showcasing the strength that faith and will can offer. So they're meant to be just these large, massive, imposing structures from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
So they're walled by towering structures. They have, weathered gargoyles perched on top. They got fancy crenellations and other things peeking
You better
out
believe
from
there's
it.
skulls on those walls.
Oh yeah, many skulls, many Aquillas,
Candles.
probably Voxcasters blaring Imperial
like-
Creed
Yeah.
24/7.
It's pure beauty.
Makes me cry every time I see it. The cathedral-like facade is cemented by massive iron gates, sentries patrolling the walls, and in one or two cases, they use the environment itself to add to its grandeur. There was a mention of a couple having volcano moats.
What?
So
For the orphanage.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. We got to protect our orphans,
From people coming in.
Yeah.
but also from the orphans escaping out.
Well, then they'd be orphans again.
oh
And
my
that-
goodness! Don't they know?
Don't they know?
This is for their protection.
Yes.
We're doing this for you.
Timmy, watch out for that lava.
Holy. Despite this projected image, the interior is filled with drab, slab-like buildings, completely undoing the illusion of pomp and grandeur. Not only that, but most Schola Progenia share very similar layouts, as if built from the same template.
Poor Timmy. So he's brought to the front gate. It's this beautiful place. He's like,
Super-
finally,
yeah.
I'm going to get a good meal.
Yeah.
Gates open. The light shines through. His eyes adjust. It's just gray concrete slabs everywhere.
Depressing.
Very,
Kids are being
beat.
depressing.
Well, we'll get into that later. We haven't said that yet.
No, not beaten, Mark. Murdered.
Oh,
you
there's a difference.
Up it a little more.
You skipped that step.
Oh yeah, it's cool too. So they all share very similar layouts. Like they just went around the galaxy and built like a bunch of orphanages.
All the missionaries, yeah.
Yeah.
They have the same template
Yeah,
as
yeah.
they are going out and making these Schola Progenia.
Yeah.
Just cookie cutter.
Yeah, very
Schola
cookie
Progenium.
cutter. Do you want to take the next one?
Oh
Zach?
shit! Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Language. Yeah. So the conscripts. So many children find their way to the Schola. Is that how you pronounce that word?
It's Schola.
Schola.
I'll let you in
Jeez.
on a secret right now. It don't matter, man.
Yeah,
you just,
it doesn't
you just
really matter.
You can be like the French and
Yeah. Perfect.
It's gonna
Okay,
go.
because words aren't my strength, so I'm going to do my best. But through most are placed by the Imperial agents. These children are almost all orphans of Imperial nobles or heroes, victims in a galaxy consumed by constant war. Others may be uncomfortable. Oh my gosh. Unfortunate. See, I'm so bad at this already. Bargaining
Step in
chips
the
and
nerves.
political.
Someone get this man a shot of
movements.
vodka.
Yeah,
Please.
jeez.
Some liquid wax. Holy shit. With others strategically placed within the Schola to ensure their. Should I continue?
I love it. I'm not the worst anymore.
I swear English is my first language. Good. Ensure their proper education. These orphans may be as young as 6 or as old as 12. The suspicious death of a good imperial governor on some backwater world for resource allocation.
Yeah, I love the they really play up the whole orphan thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're,
yeah.
you're the orphan of a hero.
Yeah.
And someone needs to take care of you, so let us do it,
Come. Look at our fancy building.
Right, yeah. Look how great it is. Look at this volcano mode. Don't you want to come, you 6-year-old child?
The floor is literally lava.
Think of all the fun you'll have in here.
Best game.
But one of my favorite things about this is the idea that, say, like some Inquisitor or even some Militarum adept is out there and he sees this child of a very well-loving family even. Let's say this is like a beautiful family that this child is in. Daddy loves them. Mommy loves them. They have all the money and freedom that they want.
And deserve, yeah.
And the Militarum agent is like, no, this
you're
kid
an
would
orphan.
this kid would go really well in the Schola Progenia. And so maybe he tries to take the child. And maybe the parents resist. Oh no. But the best way to make sure that your child goes to the school is to, well, be an orphan.
Yeah.
And so
All
sometimes
orphans are made, whether intentional or by accident.
Yeah.
So are they actually all orphans of nobles and heroes?
Yeah,
Or
so the
do they
majority
just
of-
tell the children that?
Your dad was a great man, Timmy.
You could be just like him.
Holy shit, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. They definitely communicate it as we're a missionary group and we take in the orphans of the Imperium. But whether they're just kidnapping children,
Yeah.
they're making them orphans, they're actually getting orphans, it's all just kind of a toss-up.
It's a living.
It's not an honest living, but it's a living.
$20 is $20.
Yeah. I love the idea of just this good Imperial, like a great governor, loved by his planet,
Yeah.
and they just murder him so they can make his child an orphan
Yeah,
and
'cause,
take
like,
the
child is like a savant or something, so they do want him.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He's
Yeah.
gifted, So it's
Yeah.
like, well, he's gonna do more good than this governor.
Children are resources,
Yeah.
and you gotta
Gotta get 'em
manage,
young.
You gotta manage your resources wisely
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and get them young.
But only
6
for
years
war,
old.
not for
Yeah,
anything
that's
else.
right. No,
just
no.
to clarify, No slave children, unless it's for war.
No, the purpose is war and death and killing and murder and genocide
And then
and
it's
all
fine
that
for the
stuff.
good of the Imperium. It's
Absolutely.
Fine. It's fine.
Yeah, there's no wrong in that.
So up next, we'll talk about the education they received in this loving, caring
This
facility.
wonderful school.
All right. So, however they arrive, the orphans assume the rank of Progena Nova, and they begin a horrific and grueling indoctrination. Wonderful.
That theme is gonna like riddle itself through this entire episode.
Their days are spent constantly surrounded by servitors monitoring them, reporting back through the drill abbot's surveillance network. What is a drill abbot?
A drill abbot kind of oversees the
These-
progenia.
Yeah, like I think drill sergeant, and then
Oh,
an
yeah.
abbot is like it's like a Catholic term, I believe, for like some type of missionary.
yeah, it's like some level of priest or whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
So they kind of
Drill
combine
priest.
them
Marry
into,
the two.
into this fun union.
Yes. This holy union.
You thought the Catholic Church was strict? Check out the drill abbots. Like, holy fuck.
Imagine if your priest carried around a massive hammer,
Yo, like, whoa. Okay, we'll
waiting
get
to
there.
put you into submission.
The ferrocrete halls are sparse and meant to be loathed.
I struggled with this one. So there's a very like obvious line in the Militarum Tempestus Codex that says, like, it's describing how ugly the whole
Inside is?
but it says you're like meant to hate all of your time there, and it didn't really resonate with me very well.
Yeah, like I just picture, like, I haven't been in the reserves, but you hear people go, or in the army, people go to the army and they talk about boot camp, how they hated it, worst time of their life, but it was also the best time of their life, and it built like such strong bonds with like their brothers, and so while they hated the place, what came out of it is just this strong fucking thing.
And it teaches you how to like organize your life and stuff like that.
So even though you hate it,
Sounds like it's trying to break
It
you
builds
down,
you.
though, still.
Yeah.
Like, in a mental state of it all.
not just mentally,
Oh, and physical, too.
they'll break your legs if you run.
Spiritually,
Yeah.
emotionally, any way you can be broken,
Yeah.
they want you to break.
When they first arrive, the cadets are tested both physically and mentally. This is to ensure that no corruption or taint picked up on their world could infect the rest of the recruits.
Yeah, it's crazy. So sometimes, like, the way they get lots of recruits that will, they'll go to a hive world and they'll take all the orphans there, or a world's been ravished by war, all the parents are dead, they take all the orphans there. So they have like these huge batches of people sometimes, these huge intakes numbers of these orphanages. Yeah.
But yeah, and like let's say there's some taint on that world.
like
what are
they
they
just
going to do
fought
with all
Nurgle.
these? Yeah, what are they going to do with all these
gonna
kids?
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
Get rid of
Get ready for the next batch.
I was going to say, like, how does chaos not sneak its way in there? Like, how do they make sure? And, like,
So
they're orphans and their world kind of sucks, especially if they're coming here. How do you not go over to chaos?
We'll talk. Well, yeah. When you have no soul or personality left, they indoctrinate you. But so, helping them find the taint of chaos and stuff, they actually have psychers that do this. A lot of the astropaths. Lots of psychers and stuff will get selected from the Schola Progenium by these psychers that do it, and then put on the black ships and stuff. So they do have waves and psychers there that can like really feel like a person's soul, like right off the bat, like, okay, this guy is definitely seen too
They
much.
can search their memories.
Yeah.
What have they been exposed to?
Yeah.
Because the exposure to chaos is like one of the most common ways that you are corrupted by chaos. Even if you like resisted, why take the risk? Just
Yeah.
get rid of them.
Just
you
a
know?
giant
Like-
filter.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to suss out anyone who's like been exposed
Yeah.
or has
Yeah.
come into contact with it.
Yeah.
The metal detectors for the children.
But like metal, like, yeah, these children are hard as fuck, boy. Yeah.
They will be by the time they're done here.
You want to go ahead, or shall I continue?
Keep carrying
keep
on.
going.
The remaining recruits are stripped of their identity, all their belongings taken from them, and replaced with standard issue clothing and training gear. Their names are purged, replaced from a long list of legendary Imperial heroes. This is done to ensure that their first and foremost loyalty is to the Imperium, and not to their home planet or family.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So they're just like, hey, you're no longer Marcus of planet Gopher 7.
Of this noble house that we just killed your father and
That's
took
right.
you from.
That's right. Your loving dad and mother.
You're now Sola Macarius.
Ooh,
That's
and
pretty sweet.
these are
Timmy.
his
I mean,
deeds.
Sola Macarius.
These are his deeds, and this is what you got to live up to.
Yeah.
That was another thing that they explained is that it's supposed to like propel them to like deeds of courage and valor.
Yeah.
How many heroes can there be?
Come on, we were saying
Imperial.
there must be billions
Yeah,
out there.
okay.
I'd say everyone who dies for the Emperor
Is
a
technically
hero.
a hero,
Okay.
So,
right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. There's enough names then. Just everyone's name is just
Died after being in battle for 3 hours.
Yeah.
A hero.
didn't even get to shoot his weapon.
A hero.
He didn't waste the Emperor's precious resources.
That's right.
True.
And he protected the brother behind him.
Yeah. Who became a hero. Everyone's name is Sanguinius there.
Boom. This mindscaping continues as their education progresses, with litanies barred over voxcasters almost continuously. Their days are spent memorizing the Imperial Creed, writing down Imperial tactics, once again, blared from Vox servitors, learning Imperial histories and languages, probably blared at them from Vox speakers, no doubt. They study in huge libraries and auditoriums, and they are physically, brutally trained in massive courtyards as well. So they got some knowledge spots, but they also got where they just beat you in a courtyard, I guess.
It's just continuous. Like it
Yeah.
never ever ends.
Yeah.
You sleep, you eat, like
beat.
you
Wait.
beat the knowledge into you and the body, I guess. I don't
Be
know.
your muscles stronger.
That's right, yeah. You ever see those videos of people working out and they just like get people to like punch
Push them
their
in the
stomach?
stomach.
I'm like, yeah, that's the way to really get those abs.
Yeah.
Just the jungle gym inside this place is not even great. It's just bars, and they're just all doing curl ups and shit.
Getting punched as they're
Yeah, they're getting punched the entire time.
Train
keep
your
in mind-
body.
Keep in mind, they're a bunch of 6 and 12-year-olds.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like,
Hit them while their testosterone's coming in. Yeah.
doing
they
more
are constantly
pull-ups.
watched for signs of sedition or corruption, even in their sleep. Servo skulls monitoring their eye twitches.
Yeah, they just have cameras in their room watching them while they sleep, and if their eye twitches in like a chaos or corrupted way, the drill abbot will just be like, "Hey, I saw that on the camera last night, you little fucker."
No, it's just a wet dream, drill sergeant. That's even worse.
Heresy! No one comes here.
Okay.
This is a church.
This is holy ground.
Oh god.
They are constantly watched for signs of corruption, so that's nice. While some cadets require more correction and time spent in punishment vigils, every cadet inevitably must sit on the correction throne.
So apparently, a punishment vigil
Yeah.
is you just are pulled into an empty room, and you're just punished for a day.
Oh, okay.
How?
Torture.
Yeah, they're just getting tortured.
Oh, did you use a synonym for
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon? Cinnamon challenges torture.
That is torture.
How do they do that?
So
I think it's pretty like anything goes. It's all up to the drill abbot and like
Yeah.
they must claim that the punishment fits the crime. So your eye twitched in your sleep, now you can't sleep for 5 days or whatever. and, and you must pray and
Yeah.
reflect upon the emperor, or
that makes sense.
maybe you need to get beaten. Maybe you need other
They
people.
always
Maybe
need
you
to
have
get
to
beaten.
beat someone. Because that's a
Maybe.
torture.
Yep.
And, yeah.
But for the correction throne,
Oh God, yeah. This thing is even crazier.
the cadet is strapped into this iron chair, and needles are inserted into the rear of their head. A chemical drug called Dirus is then pumped into them. This neurochemical fluid cleanses their synapses, erasing their old life and allowing a new one to be gifted to them.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like,
It's just a classic mind wipe.
yeah.
So why don't they just start with this?
It's not as fun.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to beat them.
Maybe they need to know that they're not worthy. You gotta
Okay.
beat the unworthiness.
But then you
out
erase
of
it
them.
out of their mind anyway.
But Look, I'm not saying that I came up with the primer for
Who's
how
the
to run
manager
these.
here?
Oh man.
Yeah, I totally thought when you said correction throne, like it was gonna be like Harry Potter, the hat that sorts them out to their fucking division. It would be that simple. No, this sounds a lot
No.
worse.
What's crazy is, it's not like anyone. It's not like some people go on the correction throne. It says inevitably every single cadet, regardless of how great they are. And like, let's say this person has never fucked up, aces every test they have, is the most physical, whatever. They're just perfect. They will still get mind wiped.
What? Start with this. What the fuck? Stupid.
Maybe it's dangerous on younger people.
Okay.
Could be.
Oh no, actually I know why. Because Dirus is incredibly rare, apparently, and they talk about how they have to dilute it more and more each time, and also like we're talking about the other uses of Dirus in 40k. Like Adeptus Astartes are probably after this shit a lot as well. Like
Yeah.
Dark Eldar are probably after this kind of stuff a
Or
lot.
just
Like
a drug, yeah.
yeah, like so I think that is why I'm gonna rationalize why they don't just start with it.
Okay.
They use it sparingly on everyone. So it's fine.
Logic, flawless.
Okay, here's a question. So you're saying like even the guys that are doing wonderfully and could just like be great,
Yeah.
do they do this to like Primaris and like everyone? Because like
We're going to talk about Dyrus later
okay,
when it comes to everything else.
okay,
But yeah, I had the very same questions.
yeah, like custodies, do they get
Yeah.
it? Anyway, we'll
Maybe.
talk
I don't know.
Whoa,
Well, let's talk about it later.
Tune in later.
Stay tuned for the Tales of the Warp section where we discuss Dyrus.
A great drug.
Dirus. Dirus.
By your local drugstore.
What was crazy for me was that Dyrus is not mentioned in Lexicanum at all.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
I've never heard of it until I read it out of the book, this like Militarum Tempestus Codex. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It seems so important, you know, so vital.
Yeah, they're a key component for their war combatants, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what the correction throne is. Another thing that they do that's pretty fun is called the Trials of Compliance.
Ooh, the trials. When their education is complete and they've gone on the correction throne, the cadets are tested to assess their compatibility for the Tempestus Scions, the Officio Praefectus, which is the Commissariat, or other potential branches. There's actually a lot of different organizations that pull from the Schola Progenium.
Yeah.
So there's many different ways you can be tested, you know, and assessed.
Do we want to name some of those places?
Sure. Yeah, there's the Adeptus Sororitas, which is
Yeah.
a pretty common one pulled from there.
Assassins, even?
Yes. Assassins, definitely. It's not... I don't think the Assassins and the Inquisition aren't openly, like,
That's not
advertised.
The only, yeah, and that's not the only place they get people from.
Right,
and
but
like,
they do definitely come from here.
And like we're talking is such a small number of people
Yeah.
that actually would get to those two. But they, you know.
But yeah, those would be two other ones that they definitely pull from.
Lots of like administratum positions are pulled from these.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, do you really need your administratum adept to be such a perfect killing machine? You know? Yeah, but there's many different things that come. And all the tests that are administered these trials are pretty unique to the Schola itself. And some tests are even designed after a specific recruit. And I assume that those tests are much more in the realm of an inquisitor is setting this test. He sees someone and he's like, let me specifically test this guy, and I will put forth my psychic test on him, and I will gauge his personality and his character and his faith. But you can't run those kind of tests with every single, you know, cadet.
So will they do the trials after taking the serum then of the dire
I
serum?
believe like the trial is your last step in the Schola Progenium.
It's
To
the
decide
graduation
where you go.
ceremony.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Another kind of cool thought too would be like, so we're talking about how they take like nobles and stuff from high lords. Like they might not even murder the high lords and do anything. They might just kidnap the children for 6 years, indoctrinate them, give them back, and now they're the new planetary lord. But like now you got just this
purely faithful and loyal.
back in the family line or whatever,
Right.
back into that. So
Yeah, the family needed some correction, so you've taken and now you control a child
Yeah.
in their family. And,
and I'm not even saying like necessarily like with like you use the word corrections and that like I'm just saying like it could just even be standard to just take their children and like this is we go to high school, they go to the orphanage. Nobles go to the orphanages, especially especially on some planets. But yeah, there's just another thought. Like they might just literally give them back to the family they took them from.
Sure, yeah, and maybe their test is very different when
Yeah.
it comes to it. So, one such test for a potential scion may require a cadet to scale the walls of the Schola while reciting that particular Schola Progenia's motto. Should they falter in tempo or cadence even once, live gunfire will erupt around them, following them for the climb, trying to kill them. And so they have to continue scaling these massive walls while reciting like the motto and
there's lava?
on some of them.
Well, at least you don't fall and like splat. You just run into the lava.
you just burn.
It's a soft
just
landing. Yeah.
Another common test, this time for potential commissars, is often disguised as not a test at all, but an order from command. A cadet is ordered to execute a specific comrade, maybe even one they had spent years beside, going through the progenia. This test is designed to prove the cadet's ability to abandon their human compassion in the face of order and loyalty to the Imperium.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Commissars are dicks.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're
all this
assholes,
work
right.
and using this Darius that they're running out of just to kill your buddy. What the fuck? Just like, why a buddy?
I feel like
That
this
was
is
you
in
gotta
that
be
school,
you gotta
I guess.
prove that it doesn't matter who is
Get one of the new
faltering.
recruits.
Yeah, you have no remorse.
Yeah, you gotta prove that you can do it. Prove that your loyalty to the Imperium is greater than the bond of your brother.
Yeah.
What is,
this guy doesn't sound like.
I'm not. I don't like
You
this.
died.
You're gonna make a great Voxcaster servitor.
No. This guy's gonna make a great commissar execute.
I'm going.
So you're gonna be the victim.
Yeah.
I'm going to chaos. Fuck this.
Yeah, Mark is the one. Mark, your order is to kill Logan.
I'll do it, but I won't like it.
And Logan's like, "No, we're brothers. Look
Come
at
to
the
the chaos
stupid
with
it is."
me.
Well,
I'll kill them both.
and that's how you find the commissar. Yeah.
Well, yeah, should the
Yeah.
cadet or Mark fail in his task to assassinate or execute, his order, they inevitably become the target for the next test themselves.
Jeez.
So yes, Zach, you would be ordered then to kill Mark for failing his test, and then I will then be ordered to kill you for
Wait,
failing
what?
your test.
Only if you fail, though.
How the turntables.
But we all
If
have-
you pass, he only breaks an arm.
That's right, yeah. To
We
show
all
you
have
that
to
even
line up.
success you sacrifice.
And
Yes. Yeah.
We all have to stand in a line, so they only have to use one bullet.
Wow. They find
Waste
themselves. So should the cadet refuse, they become the victim of the next test, or they find themselves at the wrong end of a drill abbot's hammer, which means death.
Yeah.
Or they become the quarry for a group of training scions. Something we didn't really mention, but there are scenarios of like one student, say they have a moment of weakness and the abbot decides they are no longer fit for the progenia. The other students are then turned against this failed student. They're chased through the courtyard until as a group they beat this person to death or hang them or rip them apart limb by limb, whatever
Dealer's
way.
choice,
Yeah. But they let, apparently it allows the group to
It
really
lets these-
form that nice bond
These
together.
6 to 12-year-olds really form a strong bond as they brutally murder
Right.
their neighbor.
Who they,
Kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe even the best friend that they grew
Yeah,
up with.
yeah, exactly.
So
And we complain about bullying. It's insane.
Hey, yeah.
bullying's different in orphanages, okay?
Yeah.
yeah, there is one story of a drill abbot taking one of these like failed recruits, and they rip the spine out of this student, and
Like a
they
predator.
coil it up, put it in a jar, and place this jar in the dormitory of all the other students, and so the students just get to look at the spine of this once friend that just the other day was living and eating with them, and
I like how you didn't describe like laughing.
Laugh.
You
Well,
want-
no, there's no
I know,
laughter.
I know you wanted to say it.
I did.
But you did.
There's
How
no
many
laughter in
times?
the
No.
Progenia. If you laugh, that's a paddling.
You're the quarry. No laughing.
Yeah.
Another fun thing that has happened is with some recruits at one point was the chemical. I don't think it was Dyrus specifically, but some type of chemical process that they used on these recruits backfired, and the recruits all went crazy. So this whole Progenia.
Yeah,
all
like an
recruits-
entire year of recruits.
Yeah, like we could, and this could be potentially like hundreds,
Yeah.
thousands, you know?
Yeah.
So they all went mad. So they basically send in the next batch of recruits to go in there and just hold them against the walls, and then they mortared them into the walls of the
Oh,
building.
Shit.
And then they just died there, and then their bones are still there jutting out of the building.
Yeah.
So
And they're just grasping outside. You can just see their
Yeah.
bones through all the building. That's wild. And the children did it. So
That's like chills, bro. Like that's
yeah,
fucked.
that's fucking
imagine
crazy.
like walking through that building and then seeing like this drab, depressing building, and as you get closer, there's just your size skeletons like screaming, reaching, trying to get out of the walls. So it's a great place to live.
Yeah.
You thought your orphanage was bad. check out these guys.
I thought you were gonna say they actually like rose up and took out the drill sergeants. And shit and
Oh, you
took
would
the
like that,
scroll.
wouldn't you?
Yes, it's my hammer now.
There are many other tests that may be administered because they're all pretty unique.
Yeah.
And each is as unique as the cadet entering it for as many different branches as are supported by the Schola. So
Yeah.
obviously the sororitas are administering or would like administered a different test than the Scions would, or the Commissariat would, or the Assassinorum would. So many different ones.
Oh, so the assassins actually come from here?
Some of them do for
Some.
sure.
Some.
Yeah.
Don't they get selected? Essentially, the assassins
But those-
actually come and pick them.
Yeah, those would be very
Oh,
rare
really? I didn't know that. I'm pretty
exceptions.
Oh, that's sweet.
Just
Okay.
like Inquisitors, like people don't share that this is where their recruits are coming from, you know? So like an assassin or like a drill abbot contacts like the Militarum and it says, hey, I have a particularly great batch. And so maybe an Inquisitor shows up and maybe a master assassin then shows up for the trials to administer their own and pick their own crop.
Does some
or whatever.
scouting on them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do they
yeah.
ever like find blanks or other psychers in these
Yes.
Yeah.
cadets?
Yeah,
Very
What
very
happens
often.
to them?
Yeah, so they have
Are
the
they
black
sent
ships
away?
on, like.
Yeah, the majority of them are
Order.
sent
Do you know
away
what
on
the
black
black ships
ships.
No.
Okay, so yeah, the black ships are basically this like fleet that basically travels the galaxy collecting psychers, and then with these psychers they will feed 1,000 a day to the Emperor, and then other organization, Primaris psychers for the guardsmen.
Yeah,
but
I mean they'll pull the people in the Astronomicon. They'll pull them from the black ships. It's really just a recruiting force specifically for psychers,
Yeah.
but the majority of them will end up just being sacrificed to the Emperor.
and these black ships, I believe they
have blanks on them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they are run or just manned by the Sister of Silence, or crewed. I guess
I think they're
should say.
crewed and
Yeah.
managed by them, but I think they fall under a different.
Yeah, like I don't think it's
administratum.
their ship. I don't
No.
think it's the. Yeah, I think it's like the
They just serve
Inquisition's
on
quit.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
So they're probably just picked up right away and not put through any of the training? Or?
yeah, I would imagine like any psyker is just as soon as they bring them into the place, they scan them for any serious corruption, psychic potential.
It also must depend on their level. You know, too many people think that every psyker is shooting lightning
Magnus.
bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shooting lightning bolts out of
Yeah.
their fingers, and that's very, very few of them. The
Yeah.
majority of them just have a weird connection with the war,
Yeah.
right? So
Empath or
Yeah, exactly.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
able to read energies maybe or
yeah,
but-
see things that like maybe they're just hallucinating weird visions or whatever.
We
so.
did a cool episode. I forget which one it was, where we actually broke down like GW has like
like
seven,
Psi, Rhoda,
yeah,
all the
like
different
a bunch of different
levels.
categories,
Yeah.
levels, and
Okay.
how they
Alphas.
actually how powerful are. Like you don't really get ranking systems very often, but this you actually do.
And yeah, it was like an Imperial official one.
Yeah.
And I think the highest level they said is capable of breaking a planet.
So-
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
like Omega level or something. Yeah,
Just
it's pretty crazy.
cracking
But apparently
it.
it's like 1 in every billion psychers is able
Yes.
to do
Yeah.
this. So
He's a super psycho.
yeah. Anyways, whatever the test is that is administered to you, its goal is to prove that the cadet has been forged into a perfectly loyal tool of the Imperium.
Nice.
And if it doesn't prove that, you're out of there.
Yeah.
Your spine is put into a glass jar.
For bio class.
But then we have some fun stuff after the trials of compliance.
Yeah, so they get into the selection day.
Finally. Woo! Yay!
The Harry Potter
We're
hat.
leaving this shitty place. Thank God. Now life is going to be awesome.
So after the tests have been administrated, the fateful day arrives when the graduated candidates, now called Progona, is that right? Progena, or assign their duties. So massive ships descend upon the Schola, awaiting to ferry the graduates to their next destination. Amidst the incense, the incantations, and the litanies, most Progena, oh my god, find themselves headed into the ranks of the Adeptus Terra, loyal servants of the Imperium and the bureaucracy.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because
Yeah.
this orphanage just seems so intense. Why are you making them bureaucrats after all this fucked up training that they have to after being
No.
mind wiped?
Because then when you're like, look, man, I know you had it rough at the orphanage. All we're asking for you from here is just a 20-hour workday.
yeah,
It's not that bad.
All you got to do is look at one screen,
Yeah.
and then type that number on this piece of paper for the next 60, maybe 20 years of your
Yeah.
life.
But like,
you
we're not
know?
gonna beat you.
Well,
Unless you don't.
unless
But-
you fuck up.
But
And for your daily beating, obviously, of course. We would never deprive you of that experience.
privilege.
So there's a couple ways they can go. They can go join the Adeptus Militarum, the Adeptus Sororitas, or even the Adeptus Arbites.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot. The Arbites
Ooh,
even
yeah.
pull from the Schola Progenium,
Yeah.
which is the Arbites are the police force,
Yeah, they're like they enforce imperial law and not like
not planetary
not
law.
planetary law.
Yeah. The main thing I believe they're after is tithe.
Tithe and like if there's an obvious like rebellion.
Yes.
Or you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's an obvious rebellion against the Imperium and not like against the Emperor and not necessarily just like an uprising against this
The governor.
governor
Right,
because
right.
he did something. But yeah, our buddies are cool.
And then those who are like the top of the top become the Scions or the Commissioners.
Commissars.
Or Commissars, Commissioners.
the Commissioner Gordon. He was a commissar.
You
With-
you talked about cops, that was in my head.
Batman
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
kill, but Commissar Gordon, holy fuck. That guy was a lunatic. Executing criminals left and right.
Yeah, the best of the best.
Yeah.
And that's something to definitely take away from that thing is like all of this is to find the people who are most suited to, serve
These two lifestyle choices.
right.
Yes. So let's talk about the Commissariat. We called it once before the Ordo Prefectus.
The officio
Yeah.
perfectus.
Officio.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's a faculty of the Departamento Militarum. These fucking words they have for some of these things. Overseeing the
Told you,
activities
high
of the
Gothic
Commissar,
shenanigans.
officer corps within the Astra Militarum. After their unfathomably bad time in the Schola Progenium, some progena are recruited to the Commissariat to be further trained in the duties of the Commissar. So just like pistol training,
Yeah, and sword waving. Yes, that's a lot of it, I believe. Yes.
screaming and shooting your own people. The training of the cadet commissars lasts for an indeterminate length of time, and their advancement depends entirely upon the judgment of the full senior commissars responsible for their development. So is it just a bunch of commissars yelling at each other?
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it was like yelling school. That's like you're already loyal at this point, but now you need to learn how to put that loyalty. You need to communicate that. You
Yeah.
know,
through the use of a bolt pistol.
that's
Yeah.
right.
That's how you
The
know
most effective tool
to
for
communicate
instilling loyalty, yes, is murder.
Yes. Headshots. After training, the Commissariat attaches commissars of most regiments of the Imperial Guard to inspire its men, boost morale, and if necessary, take control when its commanders or soldiers have demonstrated a lack of zeal or competence. The commissars are able to keep even the most anarchical regiments in line primarily through fear, strength, and power.
Cool.
One of my favorite commissars, or the idea of a commissar, is a commissar that is ruling its or commanding its company or whatever.
You like the Colonel Commissar?
I do.
Okay.
I prefer them leading, like for real leading, and not just listening to some sergeant and thinking in their head, this fucking sergeant is so stupid.
You like them actually being like a part and invested in the regiment they're attached to more so than just being attached to it and they're just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they're like, I'm just here to make sure you guys do what this idiot says.
Yeah.
So what at what point can they decide that their leaders are lacking zeal or competence?
I think at any
how
moment,
time? Yeah.
They're one of the few on the battlefield that actually have quite a bit of independence and leeway. And I don't think most people question commissars either.
No.
Like if a commissar, like your regiment comes back or whatever, and the commissar's like, hey, this guy messed up, so I shot him, and now I lead this.
So he could actually just shoot his commander as well, or he just ignores his...
So this is how they describe it. Independent of conventional Imperial Guard hierarchy, they have authority over both soldiers and regimental officers. A commissar's sacred right and duty is to immediately execute any guardsman or officer who shows cowardice or incompetence in battle.
Yeah. And it's up to
Okay,
them
so
to
he can-
determine like what that level of cowardice or incompetence is.
And we have examples of that different levels. Like we have like Abraham Gaunt, I believe he doesn't execute those around him because he actually likes them.
Yeah.
He motivates
Solar-
with the carrot and not with the
Yeah.
bolt pistol.
Solar Macarius as well, like when his troops refused to follow him, or he was just a war master as well, but like his troops refused to follow him past the light of the Astronomicon, and there's no way he didn't have commissars with him. They aren't just going around executing everyone until they all went, you know, like they determined actually it wasn't in the best interest for them to continue. So there is, because I think everyone's understanding is if you don't fire fast enough, the commissar is going to shoot you. But they don't necessarily act like that all the time. They may allow some things.
They're still smart and good at their job and know tactics. And
Yeah,
stuff.
because like they go to
absolutely.
that Schola
Obviously.
Progenium where they are taught like day in day out like not only tactics but also just like Imperial Creed and like you know they understand what the Imperium is truly about and maybe going out past the reaches of the Astronomicon isn't what the Imperium
Right,
is truly
maybe
about.
that would only negatively affect them. I don't know. It feels like they have enough perspective to see
Yeah.
That's the
beyond
good
the
word,
battlefield.
Yeah.
Enough perspective,
Yeah.
enough context, as opposed to just like the guardsmen who really don't have much of much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting things about the Commissar, I think, is that they even study the Codex Astartes. So they take a very wide education range. Like they must know all about the Adeptus Sororitas, and they may
know
even study
every-
Custodes,
Yeah.
and like they probably know where everything fits with everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're one of the few like well-educated people
Yeah.
on the battlefield.
They're like
for
a
sure.
great conductor, essentially, of it
Yeah,
all.
yeah. They're able to understand where everything fits next to each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. A commissar is an inspiring figure to behold. Clad in a thick flowing coat, pinned with medals, a tall pointed hat with a stitched aquila on the front. What do you call those hats? Do you boys know?
A tall pointed hat.
Like the typical commissar.
I don't
Type.
know the name. But
Okay. Well,
It's called the Commissar hat.
uh,
And if you
Okay.
don't know what that is, Google it.
yeah, if you can't, we've
witch
done
hat?
all we can. They also wield a divine bolt pistol in one hand and usually a power sword waving in the other. It's quite the sight. The prim and proper appearance of the Commissar is counterintuitive to the savagery, grit, and determination and near suicidal bravery he displays in battle, rousing those around him to even greater acts on his own. So, yeah, that's one thing Commissars are great at. They're great at inspiring, like, as well. Like, if they are in a trench line and the guardsmen don't go over top, his first move might not be shoot the guardsman. It will be, like, jump onto the top of the trench, like, yell some command, wave his short sword, shoot off some bolt pistols at the enemy, and then
prove that he's braver and they're all cowards.
Yeah.
Trying to inspire them to be like, look, in the face of this, like, the Emperor is greater, and spouts off some lines of Imperial Creed, maybe an ecclesiarchal text or whatever to just rouse his men and
Get the blood flowing.
Yeah, it's not always a bolt round to the head. That's just like a very popular meme.
Yeah, that's the.
So, do you remember how the story of George Van Dyer worked, where he had his refractor shield and he got shot, and it was his faith that saved him?
In front of the sisters.
Yeah. So, I know on Tabletop, I couldn't find anything when going through the Lexicanum and Wiki and the Codex and all that. I know on Tabletop, Commissars have a Rosarius or refractor shield. I forget what they call it, but they have a 4-up Invan.
Sure.
So, I picture, like, I wonder, too, if they have that similar type faith kind of, like, here's your protection device. They give it to him. And now, like, the Commissar is kind of fearless. Like, he's got a force field up there.
He's seen plasma go directly at him, and it just dissipates right in front of him, you know? Yeah, maybe...
And same with the people around him. They just witness it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, holy...
Maybe the faith of the Emperor really does protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our proof. And if we follow him, we'll be saved and all that stuff. So
yeah. So while it's not an official part of the Wargear, as far as I could find, it is in my mind.
Right.
That's nice.
Absolutely.
That's a good Commissar in my mind.
Wow. Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. Do you want to finish that off?
What we got next is the commissarial ranks. So within the Commissariat, there are 6 different ranks of Commissar. Starting off as the cadet, their training has no set duration, and the cadet will graduate as soon as he is deemed worthy. This trend of accommodation through merit continues through all the ranks.
Yeah, it was actually really weird when you were saying there's no real like length of time you have to serve.
Yeah.
It all had to do with like your accolades and your renown, your
And
achievements,
body count, like
how many guardsmen are you executing?
Exactly.
You know?
You reach that 1,000 mark, that's like, okay, you get a gold star.
You've executed quite a few guardsmen, but I've executed 100,000 guardsmen.
Oh my god. Occasionally, groups of cadets are formed up into Commissar training squads, led by a full Commissar. These cadets are then trained under battlefield conditions in how to live and fight and even die alongside their troops they are supposed to one day inspire and discipline. They are sent to the fiercest fighting, in which they are expected to show bravery and devotion through enough to earn the respect afforded to them by the standard troopers. Such a cool squad. Just a full squad of them just... all threaten to shoot each other. No.
Just reminds me of like those Russian egg things.
You know? Oh, the nesting dolls?
Yeah. Who's training you? A Commissar. Who's training the Commissar? A Commissar. Who's leading? A Commissar.
Yeah, that's nice.
What will you do if that Commissar does something bad?
I'll shoot
him.
Commissar.
I'll
shoot him. The Commissar.
I am Commissar.
So the ranks of the Commissars are Cadet, Junior, Commissar, Captain, Lord, and General. They do have some different kind of like flavor text, but it's really not anything interesting. It's like the previous rank of a junior is a cadet, and it was not much. But if you're really interested, they do have a couple small little...
And it didn't really do much with authority level.
Yeah.
It really only mattered within commissars. But other than these commissar groups, the commissar squads, they're not really going to interact with each other very often because they're too busy being attached to regiments and other Imperial Guardsmen squads. So
as soon as you might get your commissar medal or hat or whatever,
yeah, exactly.
you're sent out.
And you might be a general commissar or a commissar, and like the average guardsman is going to treat you the exact same way with fear, you know. So it doesn't, to the people on the outside, it doesn't feel like it really matters about the rank.
It's too uniform to really distinguish. Sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read the Commissar General, the most senior known rank of the Commissariat. The Commissar Generals are highly experienced commissars. this is why I was trying to avoid reading it. Commissar. Having the additional responsibilities of assigning commissars under their command to officers and promoting cadets to full commissar status. So that's you get a lot of the word commissar.
It's like it's bureaucratic.
yeah,
really.
you know.
They're
But
just
it's cool.
yeah.
Good stuff. If you're really out there and interested, go check out Lexicon.
So that
yeah.
is one way that these best of the best people leave the Schola Progenium. You know, they join the Commissariat. They become saber-wielding maniacs.
Yeah.
and
Well, one thing we didn't really talk about is, they are saber-wielding maniacs, but they are skillful. Like, they are still the best of the best. Like, they will go toe-to-toe with anyone else in the Imperium and probably come out on top unless it's, Custodes or some shit.
oh, yeah,
like
they're
that.
very well
Astartes.
trained.
Like, they're charging the enemy trench line. They may well just clear that trench line themselves. They're so fucking good.
Yeah.
So,
I'd hope so if you're trained at a young age.
yeah.
Starting at age 6.
Yeah.
Mind wiped how many times?
Yeah. We're going to play a quick ad from Scare You to Sleep, and we'll be right back.
Hello, and welcome to Scare You to Sleep. Have you ever felt like you needed something a little darker than whale noises or counting sheep to unwind at the end of the day? Maybe you've realized horror itself can be a strange but relaxing escape from reality. Every week, I bring to you a myriad of bone-chilling tales, from 19th century dusty tomes to modern up-and-coming authors to truer spooky tales like Reddit mysteries and time slips, all accompanied by a gentle voice and ambient music and sounds so that you feel immersed and lost in your own personal horror story. You can find Scare You to Sleep exclusively on Spotify. So, grab some earbuds, a cozy corner, and join me, Shelby Scott, every Thursday, and let's get unsettled together. Now, go get some sleep. Sweet dreams.
The other direction that the best of the best go out of the Schola Progenium is the Tempestus Scions. And they are an elite army of shock troopers that the Ordo Tempestus train, maintain, and deploy. The Tempestus Scions is the High Gothic word for the
What?
Stormtrooper.
What did I write?
The High Gothic word for the Low Gothic word.
Yes. So Stormtrooper is the Low Gothic translation of Tempestus Scion.
Yeah. Yes.
Stormtrooper. Nice.
Stormtrooper.
The Scions are trained to carry out special operations that are above the standard guard regiment's ability to deal with. Missions such as deep strike assaults from Valkyries, stealth, reconnaissance, and infiltration beyond enemy lines, holding the line where no one else can, being in crazy environmental hazards,
yeah.
such as underwater or no oxygen, or like anything that the guard, they're like, we don't know about them. You send in the elites.
Yeah.
Scions are the very best soldiers the Guard can call upon, being trained to the peak of human perfection. Their combat skills are unmatched by any normal guardsman.
So these guys are still just regular, well, not regular, but they're just human?
Yeah,
No-
as far as I'm aware, they haven't been altered in any way.
They do some like chemical conditioning, but it sounds like it's all just like for indoctrination or maybe just to keep you healthy.
As physically
Yeah,
fit
Yeah,
as
like
you
they're
can be.
probably on steroids, these
Yeah.
guys, but
They're not getting additional muscles grafted onto
Yeah.
them, or they're not getting their bones upgraded, or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Are they on the same level as the commissars then?
I would say that these guys go through, if not
More
the
expensive?
same level, then slightly higher physical condition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
physical, not
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, because
mental and-
I think they're more like their level of loyalty is like baked into them, and like chemically like made sure that they stay loyal or whatever. Whereas the commissar, I think it's much more their force of will.
and they
that-
just love killing their friends.
their friends.
They love it. Responsibility to the emperor and that love, the
Right.
passion. You gotta love your job, and you don't work a day in your life.
Absolutely, yeah. Wow, you're really good at turning around and shooting us in the face, Commissar Mark. Wow. You must really love what you do.
I do. It's a gift. And here's yours.
How do you think I got General Commissar?
See this medal? I got that for killing a special guardsman. Oh, man. Because of this cultivated attitude of, them being better than everyone else, they have their specialized training and equipment. The Scions are set apart from the rank and file Imperial Guardsmen. Even though they may frequently deploy together, the average guardsman often resents their presence, with some even expressing feelings of loathing or hatred. Whispered behind the Scions' backs are derogatory names such as bully boys, big toy soldiers, glory boys, and others.
Yeah.
They don't sound bad nicknames.
I like the big toy soldiers one.
I like the bully boy.
Bully boys, yeah.
So, to the Scions themselves, these names are tolerated, but most often they're just ignored, as the Scions are just too focused on their mission to bother with the complaints of a common soldier.
Yeah.
Instead, the only thing that matters to them is the mission and succeeding in their mission.
If a guardsman ever said such names about, like, an Astartes or something, would they just immediately just be crushed?
Maybe, like
would they not tolerate that?
I think that would depend on maybe your chapter culture, but also the individual, because lots of Astartes are described as hot-headed and hot-blooded, and others are calm and reserved and wouldn't matter. But I feel like I would not risk it with an Astartes for sure, because they're also holy warriors.
What if
Yeah, I
you
know,
make
that's
him
what I
laugh
mean.
and now
Like,
he's
if
your
you're
best
making...
friend? And you ride on his shoulder into battle, firing your last gun.
Have you seen that comic strip? It's with space wolves, and they like find these couple space wolves, old space wolf brothers, and they find this like orphaned girl in the middle of nowhere, and they like take her into their like group, and she starts drinking like them and like killing like they do, and she rides on their shoulders into battle and everything.
Perfect.
It's pretty funny, actually.
It's kind of hot.
I definitely enjoy it every once in a while. I see that stuff. Wow, yeah. Whew. So these guys, they're just separate.
Yeah.
They don't have the same problems. I think I even read that they're deployed, they succeed their mission, they come back, they regroup, and then they're deployed again.
Yeah,
so they
pretty
don't
much.
even have a lot of downtime
Yeah.
as well. Like, they don't have time to hang out in the mess hall for days on end listening to these complaints. They're just like, fuck you, I'm better. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. There's no need for anything else.
So then we're going to get into the training and indoctrination of them all.
Oh, they're getting indoctrinated again. No.
More drugs.
So after their brutal training regimen brought on by the Schola, Jesus, I can never say this word, Progenium, are then taken by the Ordo Tempestus, becoming cadets to the schooled in the even harsher training camps of the Schola Tempestus for the next 3 years. Sorry.
I like that they give a very strict timeline in that
Yeah,
Schola.
this one has one.
Yeah. It's not often that you see like that, and I only assume if you don't graduate in those 3 years, like, you're just a guardsman now.
Yeah.
You don't have what it takes.
If you're so lucky that's what you get.
Sure, maybe you just become a thrall.
Yeah, like your body's probably this broken, mangled wreck. If you fail, like you've probably done some huge fuck up at this point.
Cost the lives of your squad or something.
Yeah.
Something big.
Yeah.
Fell out of an airplane, didn't pull your chute. Something you fucked up somehow.
So with that comes excellence, discipline, and obedience are the 3 core tenets that are drilled into the cadet's mind. So maybe one per year.
This year we're focusing on excellence.
That's the what order? So first year is discipline. You get there, they just discipline you for a year. They don't teach you anything. Then the next year they're like, "Are you ready to listen?" I was ready to listen a year ago when I came.
I was already obedient.
Okay, now that you're listening, let's teach you excellence. 3-year program.
So all the while they are homogenized and mentally broken, they were built as perfect soldiers.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, how often are they broken down to be rebuilt and broken down to be rebuilt?
That's a hard life.
Oh my god. It makes working in the manufactorum just a little bit nicer.
I mean, you don't have family to go back to, so you got to kind of make your own.
Well,
I
even
guess.
if you did, you don't remember.
Yeah,
so.
true.
Yep.
So many cadets will undergo mental reconstruction that erases memories of their past, literally what I just asked about, lives, and even indoctrination will also occur, so that a stronger sense of loyalty to the Imperium seeps in.
Just you gotta be loyal.
Yeah.
But I think that this is like the difference between the Commissar and the Tempestus. The Commissar doesn't say that they go through like further loyalty indoctrination.
Yeah.
I think that they don't really need it as much as other people do.
Yeah, they seem like they already have it.
Yeah, they were
It's
already
so-
like the best of the best.
Yeah, they're so deeply rooted in that loyalty that they've proven that they just will kill for the Emperor
Yeah.
and the Imperium. So.
Yeah, and they killed a cadet already.
They killed their friend
Yeah.
because that was what the Emperor wanted, you know? Like,
So then the Scions are taught superior battle tactics and use the use of more advanced equipment than the average guardsman. Does it have a list of what they better gear is?
Yeah. We get to it at one point here.
yeah, we're going to go into a couple cool things in their Wargear
cool,
for
cool.
sure.
One
yeah.
thing they're training I couldn't find anywhere was just training on like vehicles. Like they really don't have vehicle access. They have their Torox, which is basically just like a cool combat jeep, but it's not like a tank. You don't necessarily need to go to I don't know. I don't think they're training a variety of stuff. Even the Valkyries are piloted by the Imperial Navy and not necessarily them. And not them, actually.
Yeah.
So,
I would assume that the majority of their training has to do with like, hey, here's how to survive for 30
Tactics,
days, like in enemy territory.
yeah.
Especially if they're doing like recon and stuff, you probably don't want to be driving a Jeep.
infiltration,
So you've been
stealth missions,
relying on yourself more than mechanical tools and stuff, right?
That being said, I definitely read a section where they talked about retrieval missions, and they said that they will go like behind enemy lines to recover important people or political prisoners. And in that case, like, there's no way you're getting that person out walking on foot, you know, like. So they definitely have some mechanical ability, but I agree that it's not. I don't think it's as highly.
Yeah, like they don't have tanks is basically my point. They
They
That's
try
the
not
guardsmen.
So once their basic training and mental reconstruction is complete, cadets undergo the trials of compliance. These trials may change from school to school. Does it have a big change from school to school, or does it go through that again?
They don't give us. They only give us like one example.
Okay.
But yeah, you could imagine like it. I always picture like stuff like this is when you come up with your own regiment. Like this is one of the fucking things you do. You come up. What was your trial of compliance for your school?
Exactly.
You
That makes
know?
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was your school located? What was like the motto of your school?
Yeah.
Like how did your Schola Progenium like differentiate between them?
Yeah.
What was like your drill abbot's favorite method of punishment that everyone went through? Like was your diarist diluted or was your diarist pure? You know, are you getting complete and solid mind wipes, or are these people being tormented by visions of their past lives and nightmares, and they have that cognitive like inability to reconcile who they are now versus what they believe they were earlier, and like, you really fuck with these people. Like,
Trials of compliance.
are you compliant?
So one of those trials, actually, of compliance takes place in the hallucinarium. Holy smokes.
The hallucinarium.
Oh, hallucinarium. That's an easier way to say it. Where they are pumped full of drugs that cause strange visions and allow them to fall prey to outside suggestions. So the cadet must not falter or disobey orders. To do so is to fail, all the while doing physical tasks that push his body to the limit.
So what are these outside suggestions?
Like sometimes it like so they probably go in with like an objective, like you have to go get that red flag on the hill over there. You know, there's an obstacle course, but along the way it's like, well, maybe you could just walk around this little step here. You don't have to go through the obstacle course.
Yeah.
You know, just little whispers like that to try to make them stumble or not obey the original order they were given.
Yeah. I like to think that the person giving them the orders, like administering and watching the test, is giving like the most ridiculous orders. Like you see an enemy walking down the street and you're like, I could just shoot him. And instead the order is go up to him and like cut the left arm off instead. And you just have to do it. Or it's like you see them like a firing squad out there and you're like, there's no way I'm crossing that street. And the order is walk calmly across that street.
Yeah.
And you know all those guys are loaded with live fire guns.
Yeah.
And like, are you going to do it? Are you just going to walk across this street? Because
Man.
it cries against every instinct that has been drilled into you for like the past years, right? So I like to think that the orders are just ridiculous and meant to prove that you'll follow any order under any circumstance. And then you got to try and like, you're also hearing other things in your brain to like, hey, maybe you're hallucinating now. So
Yeah, that's true.
the guys like walk
Random
down the
voices.
street and you're like, fuck, there's a demon right there. So no, thank you.
Yeah.
So this is a trial of diverse nature that tests how cadets can process commands, regardless of how dangerous, inhuman, or complex they may be. Only those who pass the trials may become Tempestus Scions.
Yeah.
So fully prepared to give their own lives for the Imperium. Scions are indoctrinated with a sense of obedience and duty that overrides any instinct of personal safety. So that's really why, like what you were saying before with the gun line, like survivability, fear or flight, right?
Yeah.
It starts to kick in. You're trying to.
Yeah, and these people need it, like, because they are sent to the craziest fucking places. So, yeah. They can't be too concerned with their own life.
No.
But once you pass, then you're allowed into the Schola Tempestus for 3 more years. So
Yeah.
you want to take on the next part, Logan?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Tempestus Scions are the elite fighting force of the Ordo Tempestus, the quasi-independent agency within the Administrarum. By virtue of its members having been recruited by the progenia of the Schola Progenium, their regiments are made up of soldiers from worlds throughout the Imperium. While individual regiments are routinely deployed for the independent actions, it is also common practice for individual companies or battalions to be sent to war zones and then to have single Scion squads join the Imp Guard regiments as required.
Now personally, I didn't know a lot about Tempestus Scions before going into this, like how they acted or how they were educated or anything like that. But it sounds crazy to have an entire regiment of Scions mobilized in one place. That sounds intense.
Yeah. The regiment sizes are very similar to Imperial Guard, like composition and stuff. They have their battalions, but there's 10,000 strong regiments of Tempestus Scions. Like that's their core. And as we get more into like the organization, it's a strong 10,000.
Yeah, absolutely. These things, like, it's very often said that like a squad of Scions will change the course of a battle.
Yeah.
So they are literally just like the elite forces. Like they'll sometimes just have a single squad helping out a guard.
Yeah, like,
And that's all it takes to change everything in your battle is just a single squad. So now to have a full regiment acting as like one unit, that just
yeah.
Craziness.
They kind of sound like simpler custodies.
yeah, or even just Astartes.
Or
You know,
Astartes, yeah,
like
yeah.
you use the Astartes as like a surgical knife somewhere.
Yeah.
You do that exact same thing with these Scions. You know, just the Scions are slightly more available and accessible to you than the Astartes are.
Available.
They're like our
Not emotionally, that's for sure.
like Green Beret or SEALs or something.
Occasionally, yeah.
Pretty much,
would
yeah.
be.
Mm-hmm.
No, that would be for the Commissariat, I guess. No, never mind. Sorry.
Some of it, yeah. Occasionally, Scions have been known to send squads to permanently assist regiments of the Imp Guard, particularly those skilled at aerial assault.
Yeah, and they
They just
like,
become like the drop squadron or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
No. They like tying to existing drop regiments, so they don't like.
Oh, okay. They
like-
drop with them.
Yeah, like when they like kind of find like really good regiments that they like to stick to.
I see.
Because typically, yeah, they will just become the drop regiment for a regiment that doesn't have the drop regiment, but occasionally they find a drop regiment and they're like, we like this drop regiment, so let's drop with the drop regiment.
Holy regiment.
How many times can you say regiment in one breath and still have it be a cohesive sentence?
And makes sense.
Yeah.
About 5 seconds since I got dead. I don't know.
So these guys are just mind wiped and beaten and shit, and now they're permanently with people that hate them.
Well, when you put it like
Toy
that,
soldier. Oh,
Are
where
you-
is toy soldier?
are you forgetting the
Oh.
fact that they love what they do because the Emperor?
Because the Emperor.
Upon a regiment's creation, the regiment will be given their own regimental. Now we're just saying regiment. Name and number, as well as regimental symbol and heraldry. Each regiment is a permanent unit, receiving the constant influx of new recruits to keep it at full strength, with up to 10,000 men under arms at one time. Each regiment is also larger than most Imp Guard regiments, raised from a single world. However, these huge forces usually do not fight in a single place, inside providing core elite squads to other Imperial Guard regiments.
Yeah.
Or-
There's some crazy stuff there. Yeah, 10,000. I guess I didn't write this in the note. The other thing about this 10,000 is the Militarum Tempestus, they like to keep their regiments fully equipped.
Yeah.
They don't let their regiments die out. They're permanent regiments that are constantly being fed new people. It's sweet.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just we're talking one more thing about regiments and just colors and heraldry and just going back to when you're making your own. It's cool they give you that option. They have little symbols of cool heraldic devices. When reading through the book, I'll give you just one example of what one of the
skull guys.
One of the 50 images of the individual guys. They're all in the same pose, and you flip through 20 pages, and it's all the same pose. They're all just slightly different color with a different gun. It's pretty funny, actually.
So this one is the badge of the 55th Capic Eagles. It's a vertical white bar displayed upon the armor of the 55th Capic Eagles. It's said to be the embodiment of their singular purity of purpose. Clad in cold, free, and embezzlement, or not embezzlement, decoration and individuality, this minimalist icon epitomizes everything it means to be a Tempestus Scion in this renowned regiment.
Just a
Literally
single white
just a
bar.
Yeah, because it's just
White
purity
bar.
of purpose.
Why not throw
Um,
It's the skull guys.
But they have some other stuff, you get some spades or,
Yeah.
you could have a regiment with a sexy lady for your logo.
Ooh.
It's a weird
joining
Scogelia
that
Progenia, but you do you, missionaries. Yeah, it's cool. I definitely, I just love making my own shit, so.
Yeah, the more where they lay down how it happens so you get a better idea of how to add that character and personality to your own regiments, the better it is.
Yeah.
And anything with the Astra Militarum, the more that's set down and laid for you to really get into the nitty-gritty of the detail, the better it is. Some things it's better to have more freedom, I think, but I love in the standard army that it's it's laid out exactly how it is. Obviously you can deviate, but
Yeah, like an Imperial Guard regiment, I love knowing exactly how an Imperial Guard regiment works. Necron Dynasty, I don't need to know exactly how many Necron they have.
right. Yeah.
I don't need to know how it exactly works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
I want to know, Eric, but I just don't need
No,
to.
the
it's
shot
fine.
at the Necrons.
Yeah.
I don't
no,
care
it's
about
just-
'em.
It's too late.
Oh,
The damage has been done.
fuck, another friendship ruined.
And none too
Now
soon.
you shoot him.
I am the test.
All right, up next we got the Wargear. So the Scion standard equipment is superior to the Regimental Guardsmen and generally includes Baroque carapace armor, fitted for them specifically, a high-powered lasgun called a hotshot lasgun, a wide variety of grenades, explosives, all those types of things, and even
All those types of good things.
all those
Yeah.
goodies, and an even greater variety of specialists, including knife,
Boots,
goggles,
pants.
Underwear.
Ooh,
Underwear.
special issue underwear. Yeah.
regimental chafing cream, specialist
Nipple
stuff.
pasties to
Yeah,
protect your
exactly.
nipples. Yeah.
All the goodies they
Especially with
got.
the hot shot, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And they even get cool stuff. They get trained in grav shoots, which I love. But yeah, depending on the mission, they'll be given a wide variety of stuff they need to fulfill this very specific mission.
Right.
But a standard thing that they have as well is called the Omni Shield Helm. and it is a specialized helmet used by the Imperial Tempestus Scions in hostile environments. A Tempestus regiment will don all-enclosing omni-shield helms. They're
Respiratory masks?
yeah, respiratory mask against everything from industrial pollution to fully integrated or ignited atmospheres. Oh, crazy.
Damn.
When sealed, they allow the Tempestus Scions to operate in even an airless vacuum for limited periods of time. Okay. The multispectral oculum that attaches via a suction cup to the wearer's eye sockets allowed them to see in low light and oculated conditions with relative ease.
I don't like wearing goggles.
I was gonna
You don't
say,
want to
it's
wear
like you're
suction
diving.
cups on your eyes?
Like every time you take it off.
Oh! Yeah, like it just pops out and you're like, well, shit, put it back in. Oh.
That's messed.
It also contains a tube that is filled with a delicious creme brulee nutrient paste, and it allows you to function.
Did you just
Wow, that's
add
some
that, or is
serious
it-
propaganda if I've ever heard it.
Okay, it's cornstarch paste or corpse starch. Yeah,
Yeah.
corpse starch paste. But-
This shield is really cool.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's can just protect you in space and
Yeah.
like if the air is just burning around you, you'll be okay. And
diving?
There's
Yeah,
stories
diving.
of them standing at attention for literally days, and they just eat the nutrients paste.
Yeah.
And
they're in like a trance. Either
Yeah.
they're not asleep, they don't sleep while they wear this, but they like just trance themselves down, but they're still aware of what's around them.
Yeah. It's a kind of cool ability like that. They must have learned. Like,
Oh, they probably train for that.
Yeah,
How many
like,
days
how-
are
Yeah.
you forced to like wear this
how to
mask?
calm yourself and just be like,
Yeah.
you are now a rock.
There's stories of them just like sitting in their thoraxes for days, just waiting for an order. And just hanging out in that thing, not sleeping, just like awake.
Yeah.
But some Tempestor Primes or Sergeants or whatever, they don't allow them to use it for extended periods of time because apparently it's common enough that some Scions will grow too attached and like lazy.
Become reliant on
Yeah,
it.
reliant. That's the good word. Yeah, they become reliant on this shield and then they have trouble functioning without it. So it can be also like something to look out for sure.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Cool. Slate Monotron. So this is a data slate worn up on the armored forearm gauntlet of the typical Scion. Allows him to instantly access his Tempestor Prime's latest command runes and war psalms.
Super important
Super.
to have access to at any time are the war psalms. Just so you can get a little holy vigor in you.
Yeah. It also monitors vital signs showing the pulse rate, health matrix of the wearer at all times so that his officer can instantly assess his condition. It was the Slate Monotron that led to the old guardsman jibe that Tempestus Scions are dead inside, for upon completion of their training, their hearts are locked in the iron box mounted on his sleeve. What a poetic guardsman, whoever that was.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
should have, he's
Wrong career.
wrong career. The monoscope. Though it can be used, so this is mounted on their shoulder. Though it can be used to project a beam of light, the monoscope is primarily intended as a visual uploader. Panning left or right as the Tempestus Scions goes about the prosecution of war, each monoscope can be tapped into by any Tempestor Prime or Tempestor who wishes to see what his subordinate witnesses. The act of covering up a monoscope's lens, whether accidentally or by design, is punishable by a full solar day's electro whipping and a number of days without rations at the commanding officer's discretion.
Accidental.
Yeah. Like tree leaf, you're running through the bush,
Yeah.
tree leaf, wet tree leaf gets stuck to it.
It has to go.
Man,
Yeah.
even for like
Oh,
3
no.
seconds, that's enough because a lot can happen in like
That's
a short
a whipping.
period of
You need to get like
That's a
one of
battling.
those- You need like a windshield wiper just to clean it off every time.
Yeah, but it's so sweet. So like these guys are literally being watched 24/7. Another cool thing they talk about the war gear is like they carry everything they need to survive for like a month.
Yeah, on
So
them.
like, and they're wearing their gear all the time, which means they're wearing this monoscope camera all the time. That is always being watched.
I mean, yeah, even in the Schola Progenium, though, they are
Yeah.
not unfamiliar with the idea of being watched constantly, right? That servo skull is watching them while they sleep.
Yeah.
So maybe I like to think that there's a Tempestus out there or whatever. He's comforted by the fact that he's knowing someone is always watching him and looking out for him. That's the eye of the Emperor,
That's
you know?
kind of cool.
Making sure that he's staying
That's
the course.
some good propaganda.
He's not always
Yay.
alone.
Do you guys know much about hotshot lasguns? I'll tell you guys anyways. Basically, a hotshot lasgun is like a super overpowered lasgun, and it usually has like a battery pack that you wear on your back, and it's corded.
Okay.
So, yeah, like it's powerful enough to fire through power armor. So, yeah, and there's a difference between like las technology. Like, there's some las technology like las cannons that are like really high strength and armor penetration. Like, the lasguns are still lasgun technology. They're still pretty weak.
Yeah, it's
but
the same tech. It's just the size
Powered up.
and scaling
More
is
mobility
different.
to it and stuff like that.
But it's still the same strength as a normal lasgun, so it's not stronger. It just
The hotshot?
Yeah, it just has a higher armor penetration.
How does that not make it stronger? How do you say that it can
I'm just saying
fire better?
I'm just saying tabletop
the
rules.
strength
Oh,
of the
sure.
weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
in my
AP.
mind,
Yeah.
if it is able to penetrate further, it must be better or stronger.
Well, it just
in
goes to
some
show
sense.
that, like, yeah, it's true. You haven't earned your like weapons degree yet,
Well-
so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But
My nuclear degree is in the mail, okay, and that was only $200,000. So.
That's a deal.
Yeah, so they all have this. They have other things cool. They have like volley shot lasguns, hot shot lasguns, which are basically like a Gatling cannon. I always picture like the clone troopers when they have their under.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I picture one of those, but for 40K, so it's better. It's got an Aquila emblazoned on the side.
Right. Yeah.
It's perfect. I don't know if other cool gear that the standard people have, like carapace armor is just, it's nice armor, it's nice. And but the other really cool thing that is not standard that they have, it's called the Martyr's Gift Field Service Kit. And it's a medikit. So the Martyr's Gift medikit is a cut above anything issued to the Astra Militarum. Loaded with combat stims, auto-cauterizing thermic gel, and, this is the coolest part,
Yeah.
single-use disposable bionics.
Oh.
Yeah. So
What
this
is that?
yeah.
What is a single-use bionic? Like your arm gets ripped off.
Yeah.
And now you're like, shit, get me my single-use disposable bionic.
Yeah.
Does it just like click and attach or like?
Yeah. Like
I assume it just drills into
in.
the bone, finds the nerves, attaches to them, and maybe it's just like a little claw or hook or...
I just watched Mortal Kombat, and for those of you who've watched it, there's a guy who has the 2 metal arms.
Spoilers? Jeez.
It's a game from like the 80s, Eric. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't know the
That's
guy
right.
with metal arms, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
That's right.
He lost his arms, now they're metal. But when he originally got his first metal arms in the movie, they were just tiny little things, and eventually it gets them bulked up.
He was
So
like
I like to think
he was
they're
like a
just like,
T-Rex at first.
yeah, like
Isn't his name Jax?
the
Yeah.
new Deathcore models, they have some really fucking crude looking bionics. So I like to think, yeah, it's just these crude, blocky, or very limited stuff.
Yeah.
But single use, very nice.
Think of Anakin's hand when it gets first cut off and he's holding Padme's and it just looks horrible and wretched. And you see later that they can just make them look like this. So why are they giving him one of like the grossest things ever? Yeah.
Well.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's nice. Another cool thing, long-term healing is of little interest to the Tempestus Scions. I described that wrong. That's not cool. Sorry. Another thing they do is, that. So in the heat of battle, providing a wounded warrior can be patched and propped up sufficiently to complete his duty, his eventual fate matters not. The Martyr Gift even features a belt of subcutaneous frag chargers that can be used to booby trap a terminally wounded Scion's body. Thus, even in death, the Tempestus Scions strike back against the enemies that slew
That's
them.
savage.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So they just hide these grenades in your skin.
Yeah. I'm just going to make a slight incision here in your chest cavity. Rips open chest.
Here you go. Like, here's your whole grenade.
Yeah.
Smile for the camera.
Now make sure you place that claymore facing up.
Yeah.
It discharged and blew a hole through my body.
You don't want that.
Holy.
Yeah. So other
Very
things
cool.
that they have kind of with their war gear, the Tempesters or squad leaders can have access to advanced weapons such as power weapons, bolt weapons, plasma pit. They're the best of the best. They're going to
Yeah.
take what they want.
Yeah.
Plasma guns, melta guns, grenade launchers. They got what they want. As for transportation on the ground, the Scions can make use of the armored personnel carrier, the Torox, a robust vehicle which holds 10 soldiers and can bear a wide variety of weapons. It's pretty cool. So it's like,
It's a very boxy car.
yeah.
And it has these like upside down trapezoidal tracks on the bottom. It's supposed to be like an all-terrain vehicle, right? You know,
Jeep van
snow,
Yeah, Jeep van thing.
dirt,
Yeah.
mountain,
10 people, yeah, that's quite a bit.
maybe
of guys,
lava moat.
Lava mode.
I don't know.
The Torox is slightly less robust than the Chimera APC, but this is made up for with its speed thanks to its Castellian quad tracks. I've never known tracks to go fast to be known for speed, but 40K.
Tanks
Yeah.
can go like almost 60
But are
kilometers
they
an
known
hour.
for like speed with tracks? Like,
You haven't seen enough Batman.
Yeah.
He's got some fast tracks.
okay, I gotta do some research. I withdraw my complaint.
Commissioner Gordon is coming.
Oh God, no!
It's hard to imagine fast tracks when you have anti-grav vehicles.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I get it.
They're
And
not
you have
like
speeders,
fast.
you know? Yeah.
They're
They're fast.
fast for them.
Yeah.
For what they're moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The Torox mobility is so reliable that Imperial Guard commanders often choose to bring them on long campaigns that range across multiple war fronts.
Checks out. Different terrain. You never really know what you're going to get into. Bring the vehicle that does
It's
it
not
all.
going to break down on you.
Yeah.
The Valkyrie is used to ferry the Scions to and from combat zones. As a heavily armored Imperial aircraft, the VTOL, vertical takeoff or landing capabilities, that's like that hover ability that they have. Thick armor and a sturdy frame and enough weapons to make a Lehman Russ battle tank blush. They're sweet, yeah. And they're a pile up in there, but they're piloted by the Navy. So
Yes. Yeah,
that's a
like the
different-
Scions themselves aren't, you're right, they're not receiving training on how to pilot these Valkyries.
Yeah. Yeah, and they might not even be ordering these Valkyries necessarily.
No.
Does it say why not, though?
Just during the Horus Heresy, they broke the Imperial Navy and the Imperial Army into two separate things, so no one could take power.
Yeah, that's a holdover from a long
Yeah.
time ago for sure.
Yeah. Common methods for deploying a Valkyrie range from simply jumping off, if the height is, not, well,
It's not going to kill you.
yeah. A broken leg
Or
we
break
can
your
manage.
leg.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's
well,
fine.
We can give
Bionic-
you a disposable bionic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
We can cut it off and put a new leg on.
Third leg.
to fast roping and rappelling, and when unable to operate that low to the ground deploying via high altitude jumps using grav chutes that are possible. So yeah, they jump from atmosphere essentially. That would be impossible or dangerous if not for all the training they have received. Like,
And it's a lot of training,
Yeah.
right? So how many jumps do you think they're actually doing? Like
Yeah.
they jump and then they're immediately flown back up, and then you jump again and you're flown back up. Like,
You always hear like how many jumps you need to do to go skydiving by yourself, and
Yeah.
it's like hundreds or something. I don't remember, but yeah. So these guys are thousands.
yeah.
Yeah.
Their
They
poor
jump from
bodies.
planes into other planes just to jump so they can jump when they jump out of a
Okay,
plane.
I did see something crazy the other day. I saw these guys base jumping, so that's
okay.
like with the wingsuits
Yeah.
and stuff. And they were flying and they entered a plane.
What?
While base jumping. Yeah, they were like the plane's flying. They
Yeah.
hover up next to it, and then they just like folded themselves and like rolled into this open door on a plane.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Insane.
It blew my mind.
Red Bull.
Yeah, for real. Gives you wings,
They're crazy.
apparently. Okay, battle doctrines. So Tempestus Scions are cold, proficient killers whose deadly firepower reduces foes to smoldering heaps of corpses. Loyal to the Emperor above everything else, Tempestus Scions provide the Imperial High Command with a core of flexible, nigh incorruptible soldier.
You know what's cool kind of about the battle zone they would leave behind? I picture like lasgunsers would cauterize wounds when they shoot them. So like it'd be a relatively like blood-free battle zone. Like you just see like searing scorch marks, and you just
It would
smell
smell
the death.
disgusting.
Yeah, you just smell the burning flesh. But yeah, like it's not like gory necessarily. It's precision. You know.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Deployed sparingly, they can be depended upon to complete any mission, no matter how deadly. Racing into battle aboard armored transports or plummeting down on grav chutes, the Scions are the sharp edge of the Imperial Guard war machine. The Tempestus Scions are the very definition of military precision, speed, and destructive ability, or as we saw earlier, excellence, discipline, and obedience.
Yeah.
3 year.
The 3-year course.
You get a different tattoo for every year that you complete. You get like the tattoo of obedience. And
Your scout badge.
that's right. Yeah. Trained to be the best shock assault troopers an Imperial Guard commander will ever have access to. With the sheer size and scope of the Ordo Tempestus, not all Tempestus Scions are trained the same way, and some regiments will even go to specialize even further. You know, we only care about infiltration and how to survive for years without any kind of Imperial reinforcement or contact.
Exactly.
You know, so it'd be really neat. You really can flavor your regiments any way you want. Just dig deeper and deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. And the final thing we have to talk about is just the ranks.
Yeah, so there are 3 main ranks with the Scion, a Scion, a Tempester, and a Tempester Prime. So a Scion is their basic infantryman, trained in the ways of the Ordo Tempestus. A Tempester is the equivalent to a sergeant, and a Tempester Prime leads a platoon into battle.
Yeah. It's pretty... I really like the simple rankings on things. It's easy to see. Like, you got your Scion, you got your Tempester and Tempester Prime. You know exactly how they fall into. Not like this 6th-ranked Commissar baloney that we got earlier. What are you? I'm a general. What are you? I'm a lord. What are you? I'm a colonel.
Oh, which one do I listen to?
Yeah,
All of us.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So rising through the ranks of the Scions is a great honor, where warriors are promoted on battlefield record alone. Their accolades earned through their courage and unshakable discipline in the line of fire.
Yeah. It's sweet. Like, you know your commander, he's been right there with you, where Imperial Guard, you don't necessarily know
Yeah,
that.
you're constantly shuffled around and moved from regiment to regiment, whereas these guys...
Or you know all the officers just came from officer school.
and they've
haven't
never
even-
once even seen battle
Exactly.
and everything.
But
so.
these guys, yeah, the guy was right there. He's right there next to you.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
leader. Yeah. So
That'd be cool to almost play this in the new mode they came out with, like the campaign kind of mode, or
Okay.
fuck, what's it called?
Yeah, it's the campaign.
Yeah, what is it called? Crusade?
Crusades.
Yeah, Crusade, and like
Mm.
you could kind of play that into your game a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very real too, though. Like, this is real life army
Mhm.
tactics, right? It's Navy SEALs, like you're saying before, Logan. Like, this is what they sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
very similar. Yeah, at least the theme of it, right? And
Yeah.
like the feeling they're trying to evoke is definitely very like elite soldier
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Militarum Tempestus.
Yeah. The Ordo Tempestus, as I like to call it.
Commissars.
Loyal. That just is constantly running through their head. It's just, I love the Emperor. I love the Emperor. I love him.
Anything else and mind wipe.
Start from scratch.
Okay. Speaking of mind wipe, let's just dive right into our Tales of the Warp section. So I got a couple things I want to discuss, kind
Yeah.
of.
This is where we just are going to get wild with our ideas.
So Dirus and mind wiping. How widespread do we think is the use of Dirus in the Imperium?
Well, this is the first time you guys heard of it, right?
This is the first
So-
time I've ever heard of it, but we constantly hear about people being mind wiped or mind altered, and they never ever gave you an explanation of how it happened. And this is my first time ever seeing it. So, like, is everyone using this drug?
Is that why it's so limited?
Yeah, exactly.
There has to be other mind-wiping drugs out there, too, though.
Like, to the same degree? Like, this sounds pretty...
Yeah, did it say, like, this one was the best or predominant, or did they throw any words
It
like that?
didn't. If it's undiluted, if it's in its proper form, though, the rate of success seems extremely high and safe.
Okay.
So
If not, you have nightmares and shit.
yeah, apparently, like, the more it gets diluted and cut with other things and added to, the more fucked up your experience is going to be.
Yeah.
to the point of where like you might just break someone by administering this drug to them because it's not safe. You know, you're adding in a bunch of shit and you're like, I don't know, this is the same color. Let's put them together and give it to them.
Did they say where they harvested from or anything like that
Nope.
too?
It just said it was in declining supply.
So maybe that's where they put all the schools. Maybe that's where they harvested from.
Interesting.
Maybe like that. That's the main ground they maybe go
Somewhere
and stuff.
close to it,
Yeah.
maybe, so they have access to it. I definitely like to think that the Space Marines would really like their hands on this Dirus. It just like, and if anyone was ever to get, you know, like a pure form or a safe batch, it's going to be those guys. Yeah.
I think anyone like it though.
It sounds like the perfect tool to have an army.
But if it can corrupt you too, like chaos and shit like that, would probably love it because
Sure.
make you even more.
Yeah,
crazy,
exactly.
right?
Especially if it's giving you like the nightmares and shit and breaking you.
Well, you could take, let's say you take an Astartes and a warband, a Chaos warband kidnaps them. Let's Dirus mind wipe them.
Yeah.
And then let's rebuild them as a Chaos, you know, Marine.
Yeah, use their own weapons against them.
Absolutely. Like, how have we never heard of that? And yeah, I assume that it's very valuable in this universe.
Maybe that's why it's not spoken of as commonly.
Sure, yeah, they're trying to keep it as much on the down low as possible so people don't know about it, so you can't get it stolen from you.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Tau or anything else uses it?
Don't get me started on Tau mind wiping
because
techniques.
they just have their words, and that's enough to win anyone over. You know,
Yeah.
strong
Just
principles,
love.
and
They actually care about you.
caring's key. I hear.
They don't beat you as a child.
So I'm just
Back
reading,
to reality.
I'm reading some known narcotics in 40K, and this one's fun in my mind. They call it the grinweed. Little is known about the grinweed except that it makes the user lose all sense of reality. The name grinweed originates from the fact that it is known to make the user grin upon ingestion. It takes the form of a plant of unknown origin and is reputably either made into a tea or smoked, much like the iloho leaf, which is a cigarette. So
Have you ever heard
It's
of?
just
you
marijuana.
ever heard of marijuana, guys?
rid
That's
of
nice.
grin.
It's called grinweed though in 40K essentially,
yeah.
so that's nice.
It's survived a long time.
And it's made its way. Oh, just imagine the strains of grinweed. You got like orc infused
Yeah, yeah.
grinweed where you're smoking just a little bit of orc as well. So,
This is permanent.
yeah, like they have a bunch of named jugs. Like I'm looking at probably just 20.
Is
that they-
Dirus on there?
Dirus is not even on there,
Which is
so,
crazy to
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is Dirus not more
Yeah.
well known?
Any other mind wiping ones?
I could read, but I think I just now am inspired to do a drug episode. So Eric, when we do a High Hammer episode,
That's
which
right.
we will
We'll talk
do,
about drugs
that's
the
what we
whole time.
gotta do. That's what we gotta do. Talk
Beautiful.
about them. So
Nice.
there we go. There's the next bonus episode, I think.
All right, I got one more topic when it comes to mind wiping and Dirus. So these guys are mind wiped pretty often. How many mind wipes is too many mind wipes?
Well, I would argue that there isn't too many too many mind wipes.
Wow.
So there's my stance.
Every other day. You're
I would
mind
argue
wiping.
3.
3, that's max, no more.
One per
Then you're
year.
just shot.
Yeah, we're wasting a lot of Dirus
Yeah,
on you.
exactly.
I think you just need to die.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if there are any, like beyond if you're using an unsafe batch of Dirus, like are there any other lingering effects of just constantly having your
Loss of
memory?
self.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like at what point do you just not know who you are anymore and you just become an
That's the
unthinking
point.
automaton?
That's the point.
Oh,
Thankfully, you always can come back to killing. There'll always be killing for you to do. The
Yeah.
Imperium will keep you plenty busy.
That's what they want, though. They just don't want you to have anything about you left.
Yeah.
They don't want you to remember
you're
your
not an
world. They don't
individual.
want you- no.
You're just a tool.
You're trained to
Yeah.
go get this thing and get it out.
Yeah, no ties to anything, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they.
Put
No-
your shield
no
on,
feelings.
go in your trance, and then wake up when it's time to
Kill your
kill
best friend.
something.
Oh.
Yeah, to kill your best friend. Yeah. Well, they're
sorry.
a heretic.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yes.
they deserve
Yeah,
to be killed.
true.
Yeah, it's their fault,
Yeah,
really.
they did it.
Yeah.
Dang orphan.
You pulled the trigger. but they set it in
Yeah,
motion.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on them.
The bullet had their name on it.
My
It's not your
question
fault.
was, before we got into this,
Yeah.
if they used it on anything like Custodes or Astartes or something like
Right.
that, are like Custodes mind wiped?
I don't believe Custodes
Or
are,
Astartes?
but I know Astartes are
Okay.
for sure. Well, maybe not all of them. Some of them have familial ties that they
Sure,
go
sure,
back
sure,
to.
sure, sure. Yeah.
But I would assume that the majority of Astartes are in some form chemically mind wiped.
Yeah.
And it might not be to the same degree because this one sounds intense.
Yeah. Like full wipe almost, like full system reboot.
Right, yeah. But I
I was just thinking, like, what if one of these people is like a really great dude and he could achieve really great things and be super heroic?
I think you might be
And
in
then
the
you just,
wrong
like,
setting.
Might as
You're
well.
thinking so optimistically.
have you ever heard of the Tau? Oh wait, even they aren't great. Yeah. I think that's the danger of someone having personality and individuality
Yeah.
is a greater risk to the Imperium
Yeah.
than someone being like a genius
Yeah.
person. They would rather not risk that person going crazy
Yeah.
than see whatever technological marvel they are capable of producing.
Yeah, true.
It's just not worth it
Yeah.
to them. In the same way, like too many people talk about how why don't you just tell everyone about chaos? Then they know what to be protected against.
But then it's already in your mind.
yeah, as soon as you know about chaos, you are now corrupted
Oh,
by
what is
it.
that? Maybe I should
Yeah.
do some research.
Maybe I should do some research.
Maybe there's another way other than the Emperor,
Wiping
and
my
you're
mind
dead.
7
Hey,
times.
look, all I'm saying is they don't only do bad things, okay? they got some good initiatives as well.
And you're dead.
The benefits are great.
yeah.
So the next question we got is, unless we got more Dyrus stuff.
I'm done with Dyrus. Dyrus is just, I can't believe I had never heard about it until this.
Yeah. Next question is, if you were a sick fuck, what would your trial of compliance be for your recruits?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As an Inquisitor,
Yeah.
let's say I'm an Inquisitor and I hear about this batch and I want to go test someone and there's this child. Let's pick a name out of a hat. Let's call this child Mark. Just random name. No relation to anyone here or anything.
Yeah.
And I hear that Mark might have what it takes to be an Inquisitor. What is my test for Mark?
Well,
I'm going to get you to destroy the thing that you love most.
oh, small cat. No.
No, the
You
cat.
bastard, Eric. So Logan, chaos sounds pretty fun.
I told you. And you
I got
don't
this
have
sweet like cat that we can turn into like this warp creature, hopefully,
Yeah.
and ride it.
And hunt some stupid
hunt
Inquisitor that
some-
tried to make me kill it.
to named Eric,
Yeah.
I think.
Unrelated.
No relation.
Unrelated,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I like the idea of an Inquisitor testing a potential Inquisitor. Like, how are they messing with you? What questions are they, like, what political questions are they asking you to gauge how well you
Yeah.
understand? And, like, they got to test your soul, your strength of will. Are they putting you in, like, a frozen lake for 10 days and saying, if you can't survive this, there's no way you'll survive what horrors I've been through? And, are they trying to possess you? Like, because the demon hosts are like a real thing in the Imperium, and many Inquisitors participate in those like arcane acts. So are they trying to say like you need to be able to face chaos and corruption, and you're going to be possessed, and if you can't throw it off, you're going to be a husk. So I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know. So I like that. Seems crazy to me. Like how many recruits are they going through before they find someone who actually passes their trials of compliance?
And even if like they aren't screening for direct inquisitorial apprenticeship, like the inquisitorials have huge retinues full of all types of gifted people.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
You find that mass savant, and now he's been that
Yeah.
might be what the inquisitor needs. So he might literally just have a math board written on the chalk or math equation on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
Solve.
Exactly. Yeah, because they're not. Maybe he's not looking for Inquisitor. He's just looking for a thing missing in his pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The assassin one, like, what would they do?
Oh gosh.
force you to like infiltrate your drill abbot's office and steal something off his desk. If you fail, you're gonna die.
Like his favorite pen or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
His hammer.
His
You
take the
better fucking hope he doesn't get it.
yeah. What would be your trial of compliance? Like, if you could come up with one.
I like the Scions and stuff. How I don't know if they have their own compliance after as well, right?
I don't believe the Schola Tempestus has their own. The Hallucinarium is definitely in the Progenia. Yeah. I think they just have their schooling, and if you pass their schooling,
Okay.
like you're done. The Hallucinarium is awesome.
I got one if no one else
go
does.
for it.
Okay,
Go for
so as Drill Abbot Mark, I would definitely always just make shitty jokes about, well, you're not always going to have a transport. So my trials would literally just be having them walk around the planet type thing, like
Just survive.
Here's your 6-month trek across the planet. You're not always going to have a vehicle, and just be, I'd make it funny. And
Are you on a death world in this scenario?
No,
Lava?
because I still value the children coming back.
Of course. You're a loving
just
drill
yeah,
abbot.
yeah.
Yes. You only mete out punishment when it's necessary.
Yeah, so it's only inhospitable. It's not a full-on death
Okay.
world. It's not trying to kill you, but it's not going to help you.
Right.
I got one too. Something I was thinking of is they live in their armor pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Kinda what I was
coating
thinking.
their armor with like ivy and living with that for a certain trial of time to see if
Like
they actually
making it painful in the armor.
Yeah, so they see if they can actually withstand that as well.
Oh my god.
'Cause
Yeah.
the armor protects them from a lot of the outer core, right?
Yeah.
The inner core is exposed, right? So
Yeah, toughen that up.
Yeah.
You itch, you're getting hit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I was kind of thinking. I was like,
That's
make
sweet.
these kids, or when they're done, just stand in front of their armor for days, staring at their armor. Because they were going to want to go in that armor, but you don't get to. You have to learn that you can do this without the armor as well.
Or put them like in a boiling room and they can't sweat.
Yeah, sure. They just gotta like force themselves to not sweat at all, or
Sucking it back in.
It's going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like these seem torturous.
Yeah,
is what they really
I like
are.
the like strength of will toward
That's your favorite kind of torture,
quotation.
right? Yeah.
Torture. Just like not so much physical and stuff, because you're gonna get a lot of that in
You
your
don't
training.
like your balls being stepped on.
No. Well, not in the church, but
Well, that's a sin in the church.
Yeah.
So
Or you can even do like reciting pi. And they you have to memorize
how many
that
levels
shit.
do you have to go
Yeah.
down? Yeah.
And that is a good skill because it like has memorization applications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to recite entire passages from the Imperial Creed while digging a tunnel and it's collapsing behind you.
Yeah.
So you have to make your way out while reciting this, or else you might just
Multitask.
die. Yeah, like follow this map through this city, and everyone is actually trying to kill you in this city,
Yeah.
and you got to do it while wearing bright orange so you can't hide or something. I don't know.
yeah, just like another one would be like dropping them.
Just dropping them.
On their heads,
Survive this 200-foot drop.
dropping them in like a little city you've made, and they literally have to just survive
It's
while
like an
you're
orc
hunting for
infested
them.
city or
Yeah, or
something.
something like
It's
that.
just like get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you make it out, like you deserve to go on, you know.
Yeah.
So
Or even even experiencing death, maybe. So like drowning them and then bringing them back to
like
life.
waterboarding.
Yeah,
Mm.
but
Oh
actually
my
bringing them back to
gosh.
life to see if they
Yeah.
actually can
That'd
survive
be a
that
sick
test.
one. Make their
Yeah.
armor like
And then you bring them back, they're back to life, and now they have to do something immediately after. Like
Yeah.
how much stress and strain can you actually take
Yeah.
before you break? And
cutting
Oof.
their arm off and putting
Yeah.
a little robot arm on.
giving them the temporary
Eating their own
disposable-
arm.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh.
That could be mean. Too mean.
This is a whole mean.
Guys, these are like 14-year-olds.
Oh right, yeah.
6 to 14.
Okay. Any other trials of compliance we want to search through our depraved and disgusting minds for, or
Well, when you say it like that, I don't want to share.
okay?
I could keep going.
Let's talk about Abhuman Scion regiments.
Yeah, this was just an interesting thought. Like, you think abhumans ever make it in?
Yeah, are Abhumans accepted into the Schola Progenia? And then if they are, like, And let's say they are the best of the best. Are the Tempestus Scions accepting them into their ranks?
Yeah.
Abhumans are like
Like
the weird-looking dudes
Ogryns
and shit,
or
yeah.
Squats. Like, there are some that are not necessarily weird, but
Yeah.
I'd like to say so, because they could be better at
Yeah.
something that a human isn't, right?
yeah.
And they could go to like those extra specialized regiments too.
Yeah, like I forget which planet was like eternally surrounded at night, and then they had some crazy name. It was like Blindies or something.
Oh,
But like
okay.
you have a regiment like that who literally can now see
Night
Night.
infiltration.
Yeah.
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 The big dudes would just be
Oh.
fucking.
I like the idea of a Suicide Squad abhuman squad. So you get like a bunch of quote unquote humans, you know,
As humans as they
barely human, you know, they're just enough to you feel okay calling them humans.
Enough diversity.
That's right, yeah. But yeah, you get all these guys with crazy different talents, and maybe because humanity in the Imperium is racist as shit. They do not like other things, and so you have these best of the best trained guys, and they have all these special skills, but no other one really wants to be next to them
Yeah.
because everyone's an asshole, right? So you then have this Suicide Squad with these capabilities beyond what the regular humans are able of doing, and so you just send them like, hey, you can serve the Emperor by dying.
But it'll be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Check out all this sweet gear we're gonna give you.
Oh, by the way, don't ever cover up your camera or we'll kill you. But yeah, that's definitely how I would see it happening. Like, they're putting these guys in the most ridiculous of scenarios.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas like other Scions would go in there,
Yeah.
but we just don't care about the abhumans, so
Yeah.
let's kill them.
I'm surprised there is even abhumans. Like,
like living.
yes. That they're not just. No, like, seriously, they don't like anything else. But
There's still use for them, though. Meat shields.
I think most of the Imperium is not aren't okay with the abhumans, but there are entire planets that are inhabited by these abhumans, right? So I think it would be about as hard to get rid of all abhumans as it would be to get rid of
Xenos.
all Eldar. You know, they're too spread out over the galaxy for you to confidently say like, yes, we have killed all the squats.
Yeah.
You know.
The Imperium recognizes 73 stable abhuman strains. 46 types are now listed as extinct, with a further 12 suggesting
46.
they have died, or they too have died out or have been assimilated into the greater population. The status of the remaining is 15 strains that like the Administrarum deem alive and okay. Yeah, out of 73.
That's not many.
No.
Not a lot. But yeah, I love the idea of maybe just like one military Tempestus school taking abhumans and like that's
From all the different Progenium schools, yeah.
You got like
Or- or
Professor Xavier going there.
yeah, exactly, and making some crazy weird
Mutant
school.
suicide squad
Yeah.
mutant school. Yeah, it'd be sweet.
You just get these guys that are already the best of the best, greatly equipped, amazing at what they do, and then they have, beyond that, they have these special skills.
Like a third arm.
Yeah.
For reloading just their gun.
Or
That's all
just
he's ever done
stupid,
with
strong Ogryns,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
or you get your night guy who does these crazy night missions or whatever. Or you
Get
get
your
one...
Scaly, who you kind of just,
Yeah.
it's like the team mascot, that guy.
He's nothing, no value.
No
beyond
value
just-
beyond, he's like a little lizard human. It's
Yeah.
like, well, that's kind of cool.
He's a side hero.
Side hero.
So we do say, though, totally okay if there are abhuman scions.
No.
Oh!
No.
Oh.
That's not where I landed. That's where I want to go, but
I see.
yeah. No, I would say like I don't think the Schola Progenium is taking abhumans, man. I
I don't think
No.
there's many abhuman nobles.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like, but like I said, I could see like there's that 0.0001% thing where that one regiment is an abhuman scion regiment, and I could get behind that. But I definitely don't think there's ever going to be any abhuman just mixed in.
No.
Like, you know.
Even a regiment seems like a lot to me. 10,000.
Well, maybe it's not 10,000 though. But even 10,000, the galaxy's a big place. 10,000 is not really
Teeny
that much.
amount.
It's
Yeah.
you're right. It's a big place.
And couldn't there be abhumans that blend into humans?
Sure.
Yes, there are. I think there are many of those actually.
So
Yeah.
they could always sneak in.
When our scaly friend, he puts a coat on, he now looks more like a cow with the leather than the lizard. So
Yeah, maybe you have a small Ogren,
Yeah.
who just looks like a big human.
He's the
You know?
smallest Ogren on his planet.
Yeah.
2 records. Smallest Ogre, biggest human. Great.
What is it?
I love the idea of it, but you have to do that so perfect to pull it off.
Very light touch on the
Yeah.
abhuman
Yeah.
interaction.
The final. Do you guys have any other?
Any other abhuman comments?
Would you like to degrade anyone further with? The final thing we'll talk about is Stormtroopers. So this is going to be a little meta conversation. Tempestus Scions are a relatively new thing to 40k. I think they're maybe 10 years old now, but that's still relatively new. For the longest time, we had what was called Inquisitorial Stormtroopers, and those were kind of these super elite of the elite. They're these guys, essentially. But over the years, they came out with their own official thing. So Stormtroopers still exist within the Inquisition. These are their own thing as well. They didn't overtake the Stormtroopers.
There's even some regiments that have their own elite units and call them stormtroopers,
Yeah, like
and
the
they have no
Caciquin or-
relationship to the Militarum Tempestus or the Inquisition. The stormtrooper is a really well used and multi-meaning word within
Yeah.
40k.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly Google some of those other Stormtrooper types because they were cool too.
So what's the thought like?
Oh, the thought was just telling you people that that they regular inquisitorial stormtroopers still exist. They weren't
Right.
replaced by these guys. These are their own different thing, even though the concept is so similar. And there have been questions like when these first came out, if stormtroopers were still a thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and stormtroopers even for other regiments, it was questioned if they were a thing. And yeah.
Yeah, even
It's all a thing.
If
It's
you
just
look
like
at the
a-
Lexicanum page of the Tempestus Scions, you'll see actually a lot of Death Corps Grenadiers. They are not Tempestus Scions at all.
But they still have hotshot las guns. They use a lot of the same equipment, but
They have the same characteristics and very same, purpose and meaning, but they're not from the Schola Progenium. They didn't go through the Schola Tempestus. They don't have a separate regiment in the Tempestus Scions. And there's a lot of them out there. Actually, almost all the special regiments, like the Vestroyans, they have their own version of their elite of the elite. And they aren't Tempestus Scions, but that's what you would compare them to.
yeah.
So there's a lot out there beyond the Tempestus Scions, for sure.
The Armageddon Orc Hunters. The Death Corps Krieg Grenadiers.
Yeah,
The Catekin Devil Squads.
right.
Caciquin, as we said, with the Cadians. And the Steel Legion Stormtroopers.
Yeah, so that's one that they're called Stormtroopers, but they aren't related to the Tempestus Scions at
Yeah.
all.
So that was all just kind of... There's a lot of different type of Stormtroopers in the world. It's
Yeah.
a great big place full of all
And
types.
they all suck at aiming.
How dare you? There's even... whatever, that's
So,
just a crazy random
I
fact.
guess, even with this, knowing that there are other elite soldiers out there, if you're building an Imperial Guard regiment and you wanted to have elite soldiers, you kind of get to pick. You could build another entirely separate Tempestus Scion regiment story and have that attached to your own, or you can just take some of the themes out of it and put it into your own regiment and say my regiment actually has its own elite fighting force and this is their training, this is how crazy they are dealt with, and
Yeah, exactly.
all good things
Sounds
just to help you add a little more flavor to your regiment.
Sounds like the stormtrooper has an easier life though. Growing up.
Other than the Progenia.
Yeah.
Well, just go to Catekin and say Catechin.
Yeah, the Devil
They had an easier upbringing.
Daddy beat me less.
Skinning a Cetacean face eater or something by the time
Off
they're
your
6.
friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously. And then you had to kill your friend in order to do it, and it's a whole mess.
yeah.
Never mind.
Cool.
Anything else before we...
I don't know. That was that episode. That was sweet.
That was cool.
In my
Tempestus Scions.
research, I did get one neat little thing. was
Okay,
that,
share.
Well, with the Tempestus Scions, they actually helped the Blood Angels in one battle, and Blood Angels actually really, really respect them. Like that's how elite they were. That
They're the best
the
humans
Astartes
that
were
ever
actually
existed,
like, wow,
right?
These guys are great.
Yeah.
They almost saved us.
What's cool too is with like the permanent nature of the regiments is you could really develop that relationship with a chapter
with
where
another
it's
chapter.
like these guys are the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Might even get like a little campaign badge, chapter badge as
Yeah.
honor. Like
Yeah.
Could even be called upon to specifically help them in
again
other
in the future.
engagements. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like, I think it was Richard Boylan's Hell's Reach. There's just a moment with an Astartes and a guardsman, and the guardsman says, like, I actually served with you earlier, or like with the Sons of Dorn or whatever, and the Templar honors him and says, like, yeah, like, great job, thank you for your service. And I liked seeing that interaction with it, so
Yeah.
anything that, like, builds on that, I'm definitely
Yeah.
down for.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else to share?
okay, so everyone, don't forget, message Henry Cavill.
Oh my God, yes.
Don't forget to, on Instagram, message Henry Cavill saying, hey, you should go on Lorehammer, the #1 Pop 40K podcast in the world. Did
That's
you know
right.
they're signed by Spotify, so they're a pretty big deal? Like, so they're not just 4 guys in a room. Like, you should go, Henry Cavill. Go tell us about I think you guys get the bit.
Did you see the most recent clip of him with 40K running? He's on like the set of The Witcher or something, and there's just like a backdrop behind him, and in the middle of his interview he just interrupts the interviewer and he's like, I'm sorry, he's like, this isn't gonna make any sense. But then he just like points at something on the set and he's like, that looks like a Blackstone fortress. And then he just continues his interview.
Exactly. So the man loves 40K. So I want to hear about his 40K journey. So I think,
And so do you guys. You guys want to hear it too.
Yeah. So seriously, go to his Instagram, find the blue check Henry Cavill, send a message to come on Lorehammer.
Bring him on.
I
Bring
didn't-
him on.
I knew he was into like D&D and shit, but
Oh, he's hardcore into Warhammer.
Yeah, man.
There are many pictures that he has. Like, he's on his, like, plane or whatever, studying for a role, and there's just a 40K book tossed on the table next to him.
Nice.
Just some light reading.
Some
and-
library. Yeah, he plays Instance.
Yeah, it does.
Hey.
oh, of course he does. Superman.
He tried to play the Emperor. Yeah. So that was all. Let's dive into our Patreon. Hey,
Yeah.
thanks everyone for supporting the show. It means a lot. If you've gotten any enjoyment out of this 2.5-hour show, please join our Patreon. Support the show. It gives us the ability to do new and exciting things as
Exactly.
well as just whatever.
So let's say thank you to Malik, Jacob, Gavriel, Nick, Hugh, Adam, Philip, Nathaniel, Riddles, Dutch, Paul, Balashi, Pull, Aaron, Kel, Fiery.
You son of a bitch! I swear you keep subbing and unsubbing, just to hear your name. I don't know if
Maybe there's lots of
That's a
Fireys.
good idea.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, or maybe it's him.
Thank you to MB, Brother Santos, Jazz, Michaelis, John, Mystic Mind, Alex, X_Stickman, The Red Danger, Scales, Oscar, Eric, and King Craigers.
You're on there?
Gregor.
Not me, Eric. Yeah, thanks to everyone who is a new member of our Patreon. That's awesome. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing to be able to give something to somebody else. Like we just gave you this content.
Come on.
My fiance is subbed, but I'm not.
Where is your loyalty?
She got
Commissar!
She got it on the Tau episode, so she could watch it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I don't think she stopped.
Yeah, that's my hope. Just
Don't let her know. Mark,
Yeah.
what is coming up next?
Oh, is
you
this
know?
like a new segment that we do?
Well, it's funny because I always tell people, like, oh, let us know. Do you think this is actually the next topic
Yeah.
or whatever? And you've been honest with everyone
I'm an honest person. Yeah.
for the last 3 times we've done
So
this.
now, upon this 3 episodes of trust I have now
Right.
gained with the audience, the next episode is the Emperor.
Are we doing an episode on the Emperor next?
No. I wish we could. But
we gotta
can't-
wait. We gotta
can't
wait.
until the Siege of Terror is wrapped up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's too much. I've seen too many people talk about what happens on that ship, and I don't know how many times I have to fucking write in all caps, it hasn't fucking happened yet, you
Yeah.
goddamn ignorant plebeians.
yeah.
Holy
so,
fuck.
so that's nice. I didn't realize I just touched a nerve with Eric.
I'm sorry, I'm a little raw when it comes to the vengeful spirit and Polonius Pius on that ship as a goddamn. Anyways, it doesn't matter. What is the episode, Mark?
We've done 3 Imperial episodes. I think we're gonna go and
fourth?
give some. No. We're gonna go give some Xenos some love. So.
Death
okay.
Guard? Death Guard?
Do you know the Xenos we're gonna touch?
Oh, man, I don't know yet.
That sounds inappropriate.
Well, you know what?
Send me your messages.
Yeah, you guys come onto our Discord, go into our episode discussion channel for Lorehammer, and let us know which Xenos.
I know exactly which. We're
Oh.
Yanari. We're doing Yanari next.
Yanari.
Yeah.
Let us know if you think that's a good idea or a bad idea. We don't really care what you
Where's my
think.
phone? Where's my phone?
Well, no, we care what they think, but it does not affect our decision.
Oh, that's right. That's a way better way to communicate it, for sure, yeah. We do care what you think. We love what you think. It's just not going to change our minds.
But they're the commissars and they don't give a fuck.
That's right.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Zach and Logan. Thanks for coming and
Thank you.
hanging out.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for listening to our voice.
Hope you guys enjoyed it.
I mean, I stuttered a lot, but
Happens to the best of us.
hey.
Yeah.
Thank you to you guys, the listeners, for hanging out with us for these past couple hours. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you're as intrigued about Dyrus as I am. And I guess we'll see.
Yeah, where do you buy
Where do you
that
find
shit?
that shit? That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Roll back sale on
anyways,
it.
Legal?
we'll see you next episode with the Yanari.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.